Hello and welcome to the Golf Course Lawn Show. My name is Ron Henry and I'm here to help answer your lawn care questions. Now, if this is the first time you're joining us, welcome. Super happy to have you here. The way this works is really simple. On your screen, you will see a chat box. And in that chat box, you can enter your question, concern, comment of the day, and I work through them in the order that they come in. Now, sometimes I have the answers, sometimes I do not. But either way, we have an awesome time talking about lawn care and sometimes life. Guys, your calendars are not deceiving you. You are correct. It is not Friday night. Our normal time would be on Friday, but I have a commitment this Friday that I really can't get out of. So the live stream was moved up to tonight, hence why we are here chatting with you guys this evening. Hopefully everyone's doing well. June is upon us. We're already at June 4th, which is pretty crazy. This year is absolutely flying by. And hopefully all your lawns are doing pretty well. I've got some pictures from folks to show on the live stream tonight. And, with today being, or this tonight being the first live stream for the month of June, figured we'd take some time and chat about, things you can be doing this time of year to get your lawn setting the standard for your particular area. All right. So let's get into it. No need to waste time. Our first question of the evening, our first comment of the evening is from Mr. Jackie Bear. He says, "I have an excellent stream, sir." Thanks so much, Jackie. I really do appreciate that. And as always, guys, you can participate in the show with YouTube being our primary platform, but you can also catch the show on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. So whichever way is best for you, you can be part of it. Also, we still don't have super chats. If you want to contribute to the show, we have a Cash App link that you can use, which we would absolutely appreciate if you decided to do that. All right. Next up, we have Helio Castillo. He says, "Hey, Ron, this is Jose Castillo. I sent you some pictures of my front lawn recently. Ordered my soil test to get proper fertilizer going and order the Celsius Uncertainty Kit for warm season. Once the Celsius Uncertainty are dried on the lawn, is it safe for pets? I'm a rookie, my bad." Yeah, it's a great question, Jose. So yeah, the general rule for pretty much any lawn care product is once you apply it, if it's something like fertilizer and when it's watered in, you're good to go for people and pets to re-enter the lawn. When it comes to herbicides, it's the same thing. So you apply them, and then once the lawn dries, in the case of a foliar spray like Celsius or Certainty, you're good to re-enter the lawn. If it's something like pre-emergent or any kind of a granular herbicide product, once you water it and then again the lawn dries, you're going to re-enter the lawn. What you can do if you're trying to be ultra conservative is just wait until the following day. Like if you go and watch the signs that the professional services leave in lawns after they've applied pre-emergent or fertilizer, pretty much they've sprayed and done anything to the lawn, there'll be a sign that says, keep people and pets off the lawn for 24 hours and run irrigation within 48 hours if at all possible. So long short of it is, yeah, I mean, there really shouldn't be an issue for you or fur babies, again, once the lawn is dried, assuming you're applying everything at correct rates. All right. Great question. It's a good one. All right. Next up is Nick Wren. 'Tis the season for top dressing. He says, hey, Ron, love the midweek stream. I'm top dressing in a week or so. Since we're in season, would you still recommend cutting or dropping the height of cut before doing so? I keep my Xeon at 1.5 inches currently. I mean, it's really up to you, Nick. What you get by lowering the height of cut is it makes it easier to work the material in. So at 1.5 inches with Zoysia, that's probably, especially if it's an established lawn, it's going to be fairly thick. So while you can absolutely top dress the lawn with it 1.5 inches tall, there's no issue at all with doing that. It's just going to be more work. As far as having the sand settle into low spots in the lawn, it's going to be a bit more work with the leveling rate. But yeah, there's no necessarily I'd say a need for you to drop the height of cut, given you're at 1.5 inches right now. Also, given that you're Zoysia. Now, if you had Bermuda, I'd say yeah. If you want to go and do that, I'd feel less bad telling you to do that to a Bermuda lawn, because Bermuda grows so quickly, especially this time of year, that it's going to green back up and recover really well. Whereas Zoysia, if you are currently at 1.5 inches, that's where you've been maintaining it, and then you effectively scalp it to 0.75 inches, it's going to look pretty unsightly. You know what I mean? And given that it's Zoysia, it's going to take its sweet time recovering. It's sweet, sweet time. So, I mean, I'm learning that about Zoysia. It is a beautiful grass. I can show you some pictures here of my front lawn. I think I've got... I have a picture. This was taken right before the show. We had some rain. So it's a beautiful grass, stripes great, but it takes its sweet time to spread, to grow in. Granted, mine is only 2 months old, a little over 2 months old. At this point, yours sounds like it's been established for a lot longer. So yeah, long and short of it is, given that you're at 1.5 inches and you got Zoysia, I really wouldn't mess with it. Just realize you're signing up for more work as you work the material into the canopy. So great work. It's a great time of year to do it, to top dress. It's given that we are, not sure what part of the country you're in, but given that we're here in Georgia, we're finally now getting consistent temps where the cool temps, the nighttime temps are in the 60s. Bermuda's growing really aggressively, and so is Zoysia. So I'm just looking forward to it lighting off and really starting to fill in here. Your Xeon's at 1.5, so this is Xeon at 0.75 inches. This little video I shot just before the show because we had a bunch of rain here. And again, I don't know how your stripes. I imagine pretty well, but I just wanted to give you guys a look at the lawn. Some folks wanted to see Xeon close up. Again, mine is not filled in, but you can see look how pretty it is. Look at the color. Pretty color, really, really pretty grass. I mean, I say this. I mean, Zoysia. Now that I actually have some, it behaves very much like similar along the lines of how like as far as like the striping and the depth of the stripes, it's really close to like how cool season grass looks whenever I'm up north somewhere and I see lawns that are striped. So it's pretty cool. I am enjoying it. Heaven help me if I ever scalp it or some animal goes and does some damage to it, because I've been looking at it for a long time. But as from an appearance standpoint, it is absolutely gorgeous. I totally get why people are so attracted to Zoysia. Why is Zoysia people? They kind of speak with a different air about them. They kind of hold their nose up because they think they're better than everybody else. I get it. I kind of get it. All right, so we got a Cash App, a donation. This one is from Travis Kriegshauer. Thanks so much, Travis. Really appreciate that, man. That's really generous of you. Thanks so much. Let me get you up here as a show sponsor. Travis also sent some pictures of his lawn just before the show. I asked him if he's okay with me showing you guys, and I think he will be. So let me get you up here. First of all, there you go. Make sure you got your name spelled correctly. I think so. If so, you will definitely forgive me, hopefully. Well, there you go, sir. Your name in lights, whatever that means to you. Really do appreciate all the love and support. And now for the pictures of the lawn. So he sent me an email, giving me a few details about it. And this is, it's Bermuda. He's originally from, I think, the Midwest somewhere, but he's now in the South. He's moved and starting to embrace the awesomeness that is Bermuda grass. And this is what he's working with. I gotta tell you though, man, you know, if he's using a Revolution 26 as his instrument of choice, his weapon of choice, and the stripe action is on point, man. I gotta hand it to you, man. Really nice work. You can tell the edging around the tree is quite nice, and given that you've got the canopy up quite a bit, the Bermuda seems to be doing pretty well. I mean, normally Bermuda will thin out under trees, but yours is looking pretty good, pretty good. And then we got the back lawn, also looking fantabulous. Very nice stripe action. I like it, sir. Really cool, man. Lawn looks great. You're doing a great job with the reel mower. You know, at some point you're gonna have to let me know. So you've had cool season grass, I'm sure. You got Bermuda grass. Like, which of the two is your favorite? Now that you got to experience both of them, which do you like more? I think, yeah, you said you're in North Carolina. So you're doing we have Primo and a new EZ. That's what he's using for his growth regulation program. So again, looking good, man. Color looks great. Stripes look great. And overall, awesome work. Keep going. It's only going to get better. Now, the only thing I'm going to tell you, Travis, to look out for is you're reel mowing it using growth regulator. At some point this season, we'll see. At some point this season, you may have to do like a verticut or something to thin the lawn out, because your lawn looks fairly, at least the back lawn looks fairly smooth to me. But what you'll start finding is if it gets really thick, the mower will begin to float on the surface a little bit, and you'll start getting less than good cut. You'll get some small scalping in areas you weren't getting it before. So just look out for that. You know, a verticut or a mid-season scalp is a good way to correct that. But if you can, of the two, I would verticut if you can, because that's going to be it's going to produce the result you want, which is to just gently thin out the canopy without really causing a bunch of discoloration and making the lawn look really unsightly like scalping will. So awesome work, man. Keep going. Really appreciate you sending the pictures in, and thanks for all of the love and support. Lawn's looking really good. Looking really good, man. And I love to see people using the Primo and a new EZ combo. Because I mean, I switched to that last year. So what he's talking about is you can use Primo by itself, right? This plant growth regulator, awesome product. Folks at Syngenta know what they're doing. And if for nothing else, why you should buy one of these, the built-in measuring cup makes this so convenient to use as far as just accurately measuring out the product. Because, you know, I get emails this time of year from folks when it comes to growth regulator, and it's normally one of two things. It's either, yeah, I tried growth regulator, and like you said, it's everything I never knew I always needed, or you have folks that it's the first time using it, they don't read the label properly, and they grossly overapply it and cause, you know, we'll just say less than desirable results on their lawns. So it's really cool that Syngenta, you know, builds the measuring cup into this. They do this with a couple of their other products too, like Acelyprin, same thing, a measuring cup to make it really easy, because it doesn't take very much of this stuff. For example, if you're using Primo Max on your lawn, and you're doing it the way that I recommend, which is you, instead of spraying it once per month, you would take the monthly rate that's correct for your grass type, cut it in half, and spray it every 2 weeks. And you can mix that with a new EZ, and it's like domination time. But the thing with that is, if you are spraying 4,000 square feet of, say, hybrid Bermuda grass, zoysia, pretty much anything that has the lower rates, which is between 0.25 and on the low end and 0.38 on the high end. So if you're doing 4,000 square feet, I'll show you really quickly here. This is how much Primo you would use, right? So you get up to, let me get here, like right at half an ounce on the low end, or an eighth of an ounce, 0.8 ounces on the high end, which is not very much. So imagine trying to measure that out using a measuring cup. I don't have one here to show you guys, but I mean, using a traditional measuring cup, measuring out half an ounce is kind of a pain. But having this built into the bottle is the simple things, right? Makes it really easy to accurately and consistently get good results. So awesome stuff, man. I'm glad that your lawn is doing well, and I agree with you. Primo and a new EZ are the truth. All right. Michael Thomason is up next. He says, hey, Ron, Mike Thompson, nothing to post yet on the yard. Going to spray the second spray Friday. We'll send pics after that. Have a great show. So, Michael, I believe what I understand about you, you're the one that you are changing from Bermuda of some sort, and you're going into Homa 31. So you're going through a couple rounds of Fusilade 2 and glyphosate to clean that up. and then you're going to install the Tahoma 31s. I believe that's the correct person. If so, definitely keep us posted. Take pictures of it. We had another Cash App donation. This one is from Mr. Brandon Kennedy. He says, "Have a great show." Thank you so much, Brandon. Really do appreciate all the love and support. Thanks, sir. And then next up is Ashanti. He says, "Did you plan to add a golf hole or a flag to your backyard? You can make a good putting green out of a section." I hear that all the time, Ashanti, and the challenge with it is just it's a lot of work. So it's one thing to maintain a lawn at I'd say high fairway heights, because I'm not even really at truly fairway heights. Fairway heights are like half an inch. So it's one thing to maintain a lawn at say 3/4 of an inch, which means mowing every other day, every 2 days, depending on temperatures. But once you decide you're going to take that plunge and get a golf green and install that in your lawn, now you're talking about really mowing every day if you really want it to consistently look good. And because you're going to be mowing a green at lower heights than 0.75 inches, I'd really have to have a dedicated mower just for the green. So it's a time commitment, more equipment. It's just not something that I'd be able to. I just don't have time to do it with everything going on right now. Just not something I really have time for. However, I've got some pictures from a viewer. You want to see like a flag in a let's see here, on a lawn. I think we've got some here. Mr. McFarland. Yeah, he sent us some pictures here. McFarland sent us some pictures before this show. Again, there's another spectacular looking lawn. The one thing that I like about this guy, so I always tell you guys, shade is the enemy of Bermuda grass. You can see what he did here with his trees in the back. You got Bermuda grass that looks relatively green, looks pretty good. No thin areas all the way around that tree, but you'll notice how he did it. Like you see, there's a lot of like the trees have really been topped. Like that canopy is way tall so that the grass underneath it can still get plenty of sunlight. And then next up, we got another one showing another angle here. Again, stripe action is on point. Grass looks great. And you get another angle. You got a little bit of thin area there around the tree of this one. If you look at pick the tree at 9 o'clock, you can see there in front, a little bit of thinness there. I mean, and this is a good example because if you look at the trees that are in the background, the grass around those looks pretty good because the branches, the canopy is so much taller. Whereas the one that's at 9 o'clock, you can see that because it's a younger tree, it's that the shade that casts is causing a little bit of discoloration, a little bit of a thin area there, like right in front of that tree at 9 o'clock. So it just shows you really the Bermuda grass, it does not like shade. All right, but here's the thing you were looking for. You wanted to see a golf pin, a flag in a lawn. So there you go. I got you covered. It's not my lawn, but it's still one. There's still one there. Again, color is exceptional. Stripe action looks great. I can't really fault this at all. And he's actually got shrubs going on. Man, see, this is a lot of work. This is more dedication than I have because his mulch beds look clean. The shrubs in the mulch bed look good. The stripes look good. I mean, overall, 10 out of 10 lawn. Really good. So hopefully you can look at McFarland's pictures and enjoy a pin in a lawn through that, because I probably won't have one anytime soon. Just takes too much time. Takes too much time. All right. Thanks for the comment, though. Next up, we have Kenny Cadow, Mr. SEC himself. He says, for your spoon feeding, how much N do you spray every 2 weeks out of the 0.7 pounds per month? Great question, Kenny. So what I do is a tenth of a pound of nitrogen comes from the foliar sprays every 2 weeks. So to recap the program for anyone that's never wondering what Kenny's talking about, this whole spoon feeding thing, how much nitrogen. So instead of fertilizing my lawn once per month or once every 4 or every 6 weeks, which is what some people do, I think you get better results, more consistent results from a process called spoon feeding. So instead of doling out the nitrogen that the lawn or the fertilizer the lawn will use for the entire month all in one go, you give it out over time, right? You're kind of spoon feeding it. So the way that works is half a pound of nitrogen. So the majority of the nitrogen is applied once per month using a granular fertilizer like Humic Max. I'll actually show you the fertilizer. I can walk and chew gum. I can do both. I can show and tell at the same time. Let's see if this will work. So for my granular fertilizer, what I use is this guy, Humic Max 1608, and I apply this at 3 pounds per thousand. 3 pounds per thousand for Humic Max. If you do the math on it, it works out to about just under half a pound of nitrogen. So to be precise, it's like 0.48 pounds of nitrogen, right? We'll call it half a pound. And then along with this, once a month, I spray a liquid fertilizer our 22-3, which we partner with the Andersons to create. And at the rate that I recommend that you use this, which is 6 ounces per thousand, you end up putting out 1/10 of a pound of nitrogen. So if we look at the month of June, let's say we could Thanos snap and it were June 1st, right? Close enough. It's going to be like last, like a few days ago was June 1st. You would have put out Humic Max on June 1st. On the same day, I know, sounds crazy, you would do the liquid fertilizer along with your plant growth regulator and the release zero carbon kit, which is what I do, right? So it's a whole bunch of stuff happens the first of the month. Again, the granular fertilizer and the liquids along with the Primo and a new easy combo. Fast forward 2 weeks, the liquids get sprayed again. So if you do the math on that, 1/2 pound from the granular, 1/10 of a pound from the liquids, and then 2 weeks later, another 1/10 of a pound. So you end up at 7/10 of a pound of nitrogen thereabouts over the course of the month, and it produces results that I really like. I mean, I don't know if I have any video of the back lawn. Let me see if I do. I might. Yeah, so this is the back lawn. This is from last week, but that is a Bermuda grass lawn that sees 7/10 of a pound of nitrogen, and again, the color looks great. It's nice and consistent. And the benefit of it is this, right? A lot of folks will tell you throw a pound of nitrogen, 1 pound of nitrogen per month at Bermuda grass, which you can do. But I'm of the opinion that if you can do the use of like a good biostimulant program, apply less inputs, so the grass is still healthy, you don't have disease problems, there's no like discoloration or anything like that, but you're also reducing the chances of you having like fats developing because you're not pushing a bunch of growth in the lawn. You're also reducing the chances of there being creating conditions where disease like large patch can become a problem. So there's just tons of benefits to a spoon feeding program. The only real negative is that instead of being out and putting out fertilizer on the lawn once per month, you're doing it every 2 weeks. And not everyone either likes to do that or has the time to do that. But if you do, in my opinion, it produces superior results. Another reason to do it is that it also gives you, every 2 weeks is a great cadence for putting out your plant growth regulator. So you're going to be out there spraying the lawn, spraying PGR anyway. You can throw your biostimulants and liquid fert in the tank and do it all at once, and you're good to go. So I hope that helps, Kenny. I know it was a long answer to what should have been a relatively short question, but I wanted to give you the why behind why I do it that way. I'm not saying it's the only way to do it, but I mean, it produces really good results. And I have not yet, someday I'm sure it'll happen, but I've not yet had anyone write me back and say, hey, I've switched from months per month feeding to a spoon feeding program, and my results were not better. I've not yet gotten that email. I'm not saying it won't happen, but I've not yet. Not yet. Hasn't happened yet. So we'll see. All right. Next up, we got Frankie Knuckles. He says, hey, Ron, what height would you suggest cutting lateral spread, tall type fescue? I've heard 3, but will that work at 4 inches? That's a good question. I don't know. I don't have a tall fescue lawn. And I have to look into that because I've not really heard of fescue cultivars that can spread via stolons or rhizomes. There might be some. Obviously, you probably have one, but I've not heard of that and what the cutting height would be. From what I understand with fescue, the reason why I recommend that you mow it taller, so like 3 inches or above, is unlike Bermuda grass or zoysia, the crown for fescue is a bit higher up. It's a little bit further up from the soil than say a creeping grass like Bermuda or zoysia. So you're going to really stress the lawn to the point of injury if you cut it too short. So maybe you got some cultivar fescue that will tolerate it, but 3 inches or above is where I always see fescue lawns maintained. Like we have turf type tall fescue is the one cool season grass that we have here in Georgia, or that people grow in Georgia, and it's always mowed tall. I never see it mowed. I can't tell you I've ever really seen it mowed under 3 inches, man. It's normally 4 inches or tall. It's like there's a shopping center not too far from me, and they have like fescue that is growing there, and it's probably 5 or 6 inches. I mean, they rarely mow it, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. So I wouldn't try and push it lower if it were me. All right. So hope that helps, sir. Great question. I'm sorry I'm not more use on that one because I'm not personally, I don't really have a fescue lawn. I've never certainly used anything like what you're talking about, like a fescue that spreads. But hopefully, I still gave you some things to think about as far as like don't go too short. It's not rye or KBG or Bermuda or zoysia. All right. All right, next up we have Gerald Jackson. He says, hey Ron, what are your thoughts on Aceleprint SC compared to Aceleprint Extra? Aceleprint Extra seems to do a lot more, but I never see anyone talking about it. Yeah, I looked at, you know what, I forget what the other ingredient is in Aceleprint Extra. I'm not sure if it's what they put, what the other is, bifenthrin or what else they put in there. Give me 1 second here. But it's, if anything, if it's like Celsius Extra, and I realize there's different companies, and you know, you don't really want that. They don't want you to conflate like our product with another manufacturer's product. But I don't. Yeah. So thiamexithoxam is what's in there. I'm wondering what they have. So for ants, okay. So for ant control is why they put that in. You know what it is, man? If I had to guess why it's probably not as popular, the price point on it likely isn't one that makes it compelling versus using Aceleprint SC, just the Aceleprint insecticide by itself, and then using something like Advion for fire ants, or perhaps using bifenthrin for, I mean, like non-fire ants, right? So that would be my guess. It's like similar, like along the lines of like Celsius Extra. It's a product that Bayer/Enview did. I mean, it's probably been several years now, where it's essentially Celsius and they add essentially Sedgehammer to it. The challenge is that while it is a good product if you want to control, like you have like broadleafs and you have some sedges in your lawn, it's still not as good as Certainty, right? Like Certainty controls more stuff. Certainty takes care of Poa annua. This is, you know, even though Certainty is really known as like in my opinion, like one of the best herbicides you can use for sedge control, the thing that it also does really well is that it controls Poa annua and Poa trivialis at a reasonable price, right? It's not super crazy expensive to purchase this, and it does a really good job. Has no temperature restrictions. Which the Celsius Extra doesn't do. So in a case where you are looking to have like a herbicide combination to clean up a salad bowl lawn where you've got perhaps a lot of broadleaf weeds in it, maybe some sedges. I mean, I don't know where you have sedges and Poa annua at the same time, but let's say you also did that. Celsius Extra kind of misses the mark in my opinion, that it's got excellent broadleaf control, you know, decent, you know, sedge control and Sedgehammer, but it misses it as far as controlling Poa annua and Poa trivialis, as well as some other weeds that this guy controls, some grassy weeds that Certainty controls that Extra does not. And it's more expensive. It's a lot more expensive, right? So for that reason, I'm a fan of more of an a la carte approach. So if I want to spray just broadleafs, I will just use Celsius. If I want to control just sedges or Poa annua, I will use Certainty. If I'm looking to just for a great insecticide to kind of grab a bow and bring this back around, I'm looking for like good grub and any kind of turf caterpillar control, like Aceleprint SC is really what you need. And if you are looking for control of ants, like I like Advion. So it's another product from Syngenta. Their Advion fire ant bait, like this stuff is incredible, man. Look, this, I discovered this in like 2017, 2018, and I've looked nowhere else. This is the stuff you want to use for that. So I'm sure it's a great product for people that are looking for a single option that does a bit of everything okay, but it's not as good as using individual best scalpel for the job. So if I had to guess, that's probably why it's not as popular, and it's also going to be a lot more expensive. So there you go. So next up is Lewis P86. He says, got a neighbor who planted turf type tall fescue over his Tifway 419. Huh? What? I don't understand. Why would you see they had a 419 lawn, they put fescue on it. I guess if you like it, I love it. Even though it's thick and striped, he told me he wishes he would have kept the Bermuda short like mine. Yeah, I mean, it's not too late. It's not too late, you know, round a Celsius or Certainty, or, you know, there's a bunch of different herbicides we can use to knock out the fescue and just go back to Bermuda. Yeah, that's a combination I've not really heard of anyone intentionally doing. Like most people that have fescue lawns don't want Bermuda in it. And the two grasses really, like, they really thrive at different cutting heights. And I don't even know why I don't think that would really look good, like fescue and Bermuda. So yeah, I mean, they can still correct it, Lewis. But yeah, if they like it, then more power to you. It's funny. I had a viewer that reached out let's say earlier this week, like as in like a couple of days ago, over the weekend, and they had a fescue lawn, and like they've been trying all kinds of stuff to get rid of Bermuda grass. So that's why I thought to myself, that's fresh in my mind. I'm thinking this person's actually putting Bermuda in. This guy's like doing everything he can to get rid of it. So yeah, he can fix it though. I mean, just use a selective herbicide like Celsius or Certainty, and that's going to injure and or kill the fescue, and the Bermuda will tolerate it just fine. No problem at all. All right, next up is Helio Castillo. He says, what TJet nozzle would you recommend for applying the Mirimichi pest control? I would do the flood jet. If you're doing it on a lawn, flood jet would be fine. Would be fine, Helio. Either one really works well, but the flood jet is what I would go for. All right, next up is D Pizzle 79. Sounds kind of fun. He says, hey Ron, if I top dress with sand, do I need to keep watering and avoid mowing that area, and for how long? Yes and yes. So if you, it doesn't matter what you top dress with, it could be sand or compost. After you do it, yes, you are going to want to avoid mowing the area unless you just like tearing up mower blades or tearing up reel mowers. Especially sand, though, sand will really quickly take the edge off a reel. So you definitely want to avoid that. What I recommend, and again, this is just what I've done from all the times I've been top dressing lawns, is when I the first 3 days following top dressing, assuming we're not going to get a bunch of rain, is I will water every day. So my sequence is I water every day after the top dressing to try and get the sand to settle. In addition to that, I take the leveling rake and I don't really work it, but I drag the rake over the lawn to help the sand, kind of knock the sand off the leaf, and just trying to help it kind of settle into the canopy more a little bit faster. And I find that helps recovery noticeably faster versus just putting the top dressing out and just watering it and just letting it sit until the grass eventually grows through it. If you just take the leveling rake and just don't necessarily work the material, don't like scrub it or anything, just literally just let the weight of the rake do the work, just drag it over the lawn. You can also do this with like a heavy shop broom, same thing, and it will really help it recover that much faster. Once the grass begins to grow through, you can start mowing it. So it can be as short as a week. It can be as long as several weeks. Like, the Xeon Zoysia, like my front lawn, I'm already mowing that. Like I started mowing it five days after the top dressing was done. You know what I mean? So it started growing in really quickly. I went very light, so it wasn't I didn't really overdo it, and I was able to start mowing the lawn within a few days after the top dressing work was done. It depends on how heavy you go. Like if we have, I wonder if I still have his pictures here. So we have Mario, who, yeah, we do. Here we go. So this is Mario's lawn, and this was 10 days after top dressing. So we'll use that as an example. Like I would not put a mower on that if it were me. Definitely not a real mower anyway, because you're just gonna be tearing up equipment. I really would not do that. Now, if we fast forward to 2.5 weeks, same lawn. Let's see here. That's getting there. That's close. That's getting there. But I still, I'm still probably be a bit leery about putting a real mower on that again, unless you're ready to backlap it or whatnot after you're done. It's even that is a bit questionable. Like I would want the grass to largely be growing through it really well before you get out there and start real mowing it again. Let me find this other picture so I can turn it off. Yeah, so to answer your question, D Pizzle, 3 days of watering, and then when you start mowing again depends on how heavy you go with the top dressing. It can be as soon as, again, a week, a few days to a week, to several weeks if you go really heavy. What I recommend, which you haven't done it yet, is to use about 1 cubic yard per 1,000 square feet. That's going to result in about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch of material going over 1,000 square feet, which most grasses tolerate just fine. The lawn will grow through it relatively quickly. You're not going to have issues where if you get heavy rain showers, the material is going to get moved all over the place and create quite a mess. So if you go relatively light, 1 cubic yard per 1,000, then you're going to be good to go. So hopefully that helps, sir. The answer to your question for the first one is every three days. And then the second is it depends on how heavy you go. If you do it the way I'm recommending it, within a week on the low end to a few weeks on the high end, you should be out there mowing it again. All right. All right, next up is Cedric G. He says, Big Ron, I'm getting ready to top dress this year. I will be using heavy equipment like I did 2 years ago, a dingo and a top dressing machine. Smart man. It makes very quick and easy work. I will send pictures. Awesome, Cedric. We'll look out for it. Definitely send us, and here's, if we can make a request, let's get some pictures of before the top dressing. You know, you can do pictures of the equipment, what all the sand is there and everything, and then when you're done. So we can get like 3 different types of pictures: before, material, after would be cool. Because you know the folks like to live vicariously through other people and get to see the entire process, especially if you're gonna be bringing in some equipment. We'd like to see that. All right. So next up, let me see if I have any other pictures here. Oh yeah, I gotta show you guys. So as far as you know, the gentleman that was asking earlier about the golf green, Sunset Bay Golf, which they are in, I think they're in Oregon. I think they're on the West Coast. They are using our 14714 and liquid fertilizer, and he wanted to show me pictures of, it's like a smaller course, and he wanted to show me, like, you know, on a budget, like how their greens are doing. And check this out, man. This is pretty cool. So you can see that the greens get all the love, and it really shows up. I mean, that color is really good. You know, the fringes of areas leading up to it, you can tell it's not getting not nearly as much love as the greens, but that is the 14714 and our 22-3 fertilizer and micronutrients. So looking really good. Color looks great. Nice work. All right. Moving on to the next question, we got Casper H. He says, Good evening, Ron. Could you please take a look at some photos I sent you in an email of my lawn? I can't tell whether it's brown patch disease or grubs that are getting into my lawn. Did you send, I don't know, let's see if I got any picture of you, Casper. Hopefully, for the love of everything reasonable, okay, your name is Casper here too. Yeah, so you sent me, let me look at this. Yeah, let me get these up here. We can show it off to the folks, and they can also, everyone else can also weigh in as well too. It looks kind of large, patchy to moi. I don't think this is grubs, man. Okay, so if we take a look at your lawn, the picture you sent, Casper, you see in the lower, let me get you off so people can actually see it. You see at like 8 o'clock, you see the ring, and then the grass is nice and green in the middle. And then if we come closer to us, similar thing going on, like at like 6 o'clock, you can see like a ring, like a semicircle, because you can take the picture showing that area. Also around that tuft of grass is looking really green. That looks a lot like you know, particularly like brown patch in a lawn. So I'm leaning more towards that instead of grub damage. So I mean, you guys can weigh in. You can let me know what you guys think. But to me, that would be a looks like a disease problem to me, Casper. So you can apply a fungicide. You know, if you want a granular option, Headway G, great product, really easy to use. So if you go to shop and then fungicide, insecticide, there you go. There is, where is it? What did I do wrong? Yep, here we go. There's Headway. It's a granular option for controlling diseases in lawns. And if you want a liquid option, you can go with Pillar SC. So either one of these will do a good job. If you want liquid, go with Pillar SC. If you like granular, go with Headway G. Either one will work well. As far as what you can expect is you apply it, and then 14 days later, you can apply it again. So I can show you exactly what you can expect to happen, because you know, fungicide isn't magic. It doesn't reverse the damage, but what it does is it helps prevent it from getting worse, and then which is going to allow the lawn to heal over time. So if you take a look at a few pictures here in the product description, there we go. So this was actually my lawn. This happened, I think, in like 2020 or 2021. This is several years ago. So this is 2 weeks before Headway. The application of Headway was done, and then 2 weeks later, like pay attention to the like the size of it. And if we go 2 weeks later, you can still, the lawn is much better. So you can see that it's healing from the damage, but you can still, if you look really carefully, you can still make out the ring where the damage occurred. So just realize that if you apply a fungicide, it's not like it's gonna, you know, it's not like it can magically, you know, erase the damage and the lawn's gonna go back to looking spectacular in a week or so, but it should not get any worse. And depending on the extent of the damage, you know, you can be looking at several weeks to have it recover. Given how your lawn looks, I mean, yeah, you're probably looking 3 weeks, maybe a month for that to start looking really nice again. So yeah, what I would do is I would get a fungicide out and just give it, let time run its course. is what I would say. Another tip is if you're mowing the lawn, if you can, don't like mow that area last is what I would recommend. So mow the rest of the lawn, mow that area last, and then clean your equipment when you're done. So like rinse the equipment off. You got like a rotary mower, rinse underneath the deck. Just get all the clippings and stuff off of the mower before you put it up before the next use. That way you reduce the chance of spreading anything around. So this is Mario. Actually, Mario, the one I was just showing you guys the pictures of, as far as like, here is top dressing done really heavy. He just sent me a picture of the 30-day mark. So a month in. So I can show these pictures. Mario, I'm gonna have to get you to start sending me pictures before the show, but I'll take it, man, because I know tonight is off. So you probably were going to send this to me on Friday. So I get it. It's really my fault for making the live stream on the wrong night. So this is his lawn 30 days later. And again, he went heavier on the top dressing than I would have. But again, the Bermuda grass, it grew through without problems. So this is that same lawn that I was showing you earlier as of today. So 30 days later. So we got picture one. So the same spot, and then the back lawn. You can still see some sand in the back lawn. You see some areas there where it's still poking through. But the front lawn, you can see, we can actually do like a little bit of time lapse now. So if we go back to 2.5 weeks ago, it looked like, let's see, like this. Nope, wrong, wrong picture. Where are you, Mario? So this guy. No, I swear I'll get it eventually. I'll find the right one. And this is the front lawn. Okay, yeah. So there's the front lawn 2.5 weeks ago. And then the same front lawn 3.5 weeks later. And then today, the same area. So you can see from 3.5 weeks to, I think it's about another week or so later, this is where we are. So again, I would just encourage you, even with a grass like Bermuda, to go light. 1 cubic yard of material per 1,000 is what I personally think is the best way to go to get the benefits of leveling your lawn, which you're going to improve drainage. You're going to, even out on bumpy areas in the lawn, but you're not going to like set the grass back to where it takes a really long time. It takes like a month to recover. All right. So thanks for that, Mario. Appreciate you sending the pictures, man. And keep us posted as far as how the lawn develops. All right, we got Corey is up next. He said, hey, I overspread Image herbicide on Seashore Paspalum. Now I have spots on the lawn, and I don't know if it's going to come back green. It's been 2 months, and it still didn't recover. Is there something I can do? Yeah, man. I mean, if it's 2 months and it's still dead, like, not like discolored, not like, it feels like you hurt it a little bit, but if it's still like tan dead, you may have to resod it, man. I mean, without pictures, I can't say for sure, but I mean, if it's been 2 months and it's still not getting any color back, you may have killed it. So Image, great, like Imazaquin, great product, great herbicide, but really, the grasses that you can use it on, Bermuda, Zoysia, you just got are ones that tolerate it pretty well, but you have to be careful where you use that product. So yeah, it sounds like you smoked your Seashore Paspalum lawn, and you just may end up having to resod if it's been 2 months and it's still not recovering. So wish I had better news for you, but that's what it's without seeing pictures, that's what it's beginning to sound like, because yeah, within 2 months there should be some signs of recovery, especially with all the temperature we're getting now this time of year. All right. Next up, we have True Gator Fan. He's happy Wednesday, Ron and Turf Top Gang. Started off slow with Spring Dead Spot and POA breakthrough, but things are starting to look good. Thanks, Ron, for all of the advice. You're very, very welcome, True Gator Fan. He sent pictures of showing how things are progressing. So this is what he was dealing with before, a few weeks ago in the, as the lawn was waking up for this season. And this is a new picture as of today that he sent me of how it's looking. So it's a big change, man. For starting out the season, some spring dead spots, some discoloration in the lawn, not looking great, not living its best life, to now that's big improvement, It's only going to get better, but it just shows, man, with consistency and consistency, you can pretty much make any lawn get that much better. So a lot of folks say, it takes an entire season to fix a lawn. I disagree with that. I think you can make a lawn look pretty good, in a couple of months if you get a soil test done, get a good nutrient program, commit to regular mowing because that's really important. It's really hard to have a great lawn if you do that. All right. Next up, we have Maizan. He says, "Where can I rent a top dress spreader? My Home Depot does not have one. You're gonna have to go to like and I say equipment rental place, like not like Home Depot, like places that will rent like dingoes or I say aerators. Some people rent aerators. You have to go to more of a specialty equipment, lawn equipment rental place. So I would tell you, Maizon, like Home Depot's not going to have that, primarily because I don't know that many people are going to go want to top dress their lawns. I don't know if they really would they would rent it that much. You know what I mean? Plus the top dressing machine, like by itself, it does make life a bit easier, but when it's really magical is when you have a dingo with it. So if you want to do it right, you want to have like a top dressing machine, like one of the machines from Earth and Turf, and then a dingo, some kind of way to quickly load it. Because if you got to go up there and like boil the machine up to a big, couple yards of sand sitting in your driveway, and then manually shovel all that into it, and then go around top dress. I mean, you save yourself some work, some headache, because it does do a nice job evenly putting the material out, but it's still a ton of work unless you have a way to quickly load it. So the fact that Home Depot's clientele is probably not going to want to pay for everything that's involved in that. You're talking about renting a dingo, renting a top dressing machine, renting a trailer, so it's just most people are just not going to want to do that. So that's probably why they don't bother with it. All right, next up, we have Kenneth Sherrill. He says, "Good evening, Ron. I pray things have been going good for you." I can't complain, man. I can't complain. Living life, just try to hang in there and do my best. Enjoying the zoysia. I gotta tell you, man. Here's the thing. I gotta stop talking about the zoysia so much because I'm starting to get, some nasty comments. Folks are saying, what? We came here for Bermuda grass. All you talk about these days is zoysia. Whatever. You're turning into one of these like zoysia snobs and blah 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 blah. So I gotta kind of tone down all the zoysia work. I really gotta do something. But on that note, take a look at the zoysia, the Xeon. Isn't it pretty? It's only 2 months old and it still looks so pretty. It's finding its way in the world and I'm so proud of it. So proud of it. All right. Next up, we have Okie Lawn Guy. It's pronounced Okie. Okie Lawn Guy. Hey, Ron. What's going on, Okie? He says, "Is it too late to plant cool season grass?" Depends where you are in the country. The problem you might run into doing it in June, Okie, is summer temperatures are typically not great times for cool season lawns. So most cool season lawns do best in springtime and springtime and fall, and you're just trying to get them to survive the summer temperatures. So if you were to go out and, I don't know what kind of grass you're looking at, but if you were to go out and try and seed a cool season lawn now, you'll probably get germination, but it's just going to be really like playing the game on hard mode because given all of the heat you're about to get, like you're going to lose more of the grass through heat. It's just, if it were me, I would wait until the fall. Wait till like August to when temperatures are still warm enough that you're going to get, relatively fast germination, but you're more on a cooling trend versus on an upward swing. Like we are not even in the hottest time of the year yet. So in my opinion, not the best time to plant a cool season lawn. Now, if you're somewhere like in the Pacific Northwest, where like Washington State, Oregon, where you get a lot of moisture, even when it gets hot, it's really not that hot, so it's relatively mild summers. You could probably get away with it, but it for most parts of the country, not a great idea in my opinion. So your call, up to you. Given that looks like you're in Oklahoma, I would not if it were me. So you can do it if you want, but for me, I would wait till the fall if you really are concerned about not getting the most out of your grass seed and not having a bunch of damage. All right. Travis is up next. Says, "Thanks, Ron. Yard is far from smooth. I never leveled it, and edge scalps / floating will be an issue again this year. Any advice on my aeration / verticut plug destruction plan?" Yeah. So, Travis, I think what you were telling me. Let me pull up your initial email, because I got it I looked at it right before the show. So your concern is, you say you have a guy coming to do a double aeration in a couple of days. in Raleigh, and you need to break up the plugs and manage the little rocks that come up from the aeration process. You plan to let the cores dry and then run your Sunjoe vertically over them to destroy it. Yeah, to destroy them. I think it's good. I think it's a good idea. So if you have more of a heavy clay soil to where whenever the plugs dry, they turn like little, I don't know, like little corks that just get really hard instead of like breaking down, then using a machine like a Sunjoe to break that up would be good. Better than using like your Revolution to run over it. And you're also verticutting the lawn to help thin things out. Also sounds like a great plan. So yes, I like it. You're kind of killing two birds with one stone. So I absolutely would do that. Makes a lot of sense to me. All right, next up is Helio Castillo. He says, I live in Central Texas and St. Augustine is on my property. What are the best options for that grass type in the golf course lawn store? Pretty much the same things that we use on Bermuda grass, Helio Castillo. The things with St. Augustine you have to be careful with, are that going to be different from Bermuda, is mowing height. You're going to be mowing your St. Augustine taller than the Bermuda. And then as far as controlling weeds, you have to be careful with that as well too. So whereas with Bermuda, you've got like an open catalog as far as herbicides you can use on Bermuda grass, it tolerates, as far as herbicides that are designed to be used on warm season turf grass, Bermuda tolerates, I'm trying to think of ones that it doesn't. I mean, it's there's not a whole lot that you can't use on Bermuda and be just fine. With St. Augustine, if you have crabgrass in it, arguably the best herbicide for crabgrass control is a product or as the active ingredient quinclorac, and you cannot use that on St. Augustine or centipede lawns. So in that case, using something like Celsius to control crabgrass is going to be your best bet. But really, outside of herbicides, there's not going to be a ton of difference. Like you're going to definitely want to make sure you get a fungicide out on St. Augustine because it's really prone to brown patch. It's a big problem in it. So that would be a thing. But between comparing it to Bermuda, there's not a ton not a night and day as far as treatment. I mean, mowing, yes. Herbicide use, yes, there's some differences there. But if you look at like our lawn care schedule, let's see here. If we go down and so in February, I talk about scalping Bermuda grass. Yes, you could do that. I wouldn't necessarily scalp St. Augustine. Bermuda fine, St. Augustine, not as much. Then you go into March. Yeah, the same fertilizers would work. Carbon kit works. Insecticides. All of this applies to St. Augustine as it would have applied to Bermuda. The big thing is mowing height. Mowing height and then herbicide usage is what I would tell you. So there's not going to be a ton of difference. Like as far as like our fertilizers, like 1608 humic max, you can use that on St. Augustine. There's tons of folks that do. As far as plant growth regulator, you can absolutely use Primo and a new EZ on St. Augustine if you want to. There's no problem with doing that. So mow it taller and use appropriate post-emergent herbicides if you need them on your lawn, and you're good to go. So pretty much everything other than quinclorac applies to you as far as like warm to a quinclorac and like any three-way like 2,4-D products. You got to be careful with those two. So just be careful when it comes to herbicides on St. Augustine is the biggest thing you got to be careful of compared to Bermuda and Zoysia. All right, next up is What Up Do Fam. He says, what up do Ron? This is your lawn care hype man from Detroit. Did you get a chance to try out Chick-fil-A pineapple dragon fruit Sunjoe with half water yet? Peace. No, I did not. I have not tried it as yet. I said I was going to and I forgot and I didn't do it. Today I've got, this is not even Chick-fil-A. Tonight it's like, so I got a juicer. When you buy a juicer, you juice stuff. So you can, I'm not sure I can do this without spilling it. You can see it's like this yellow, it's yellow something. There's like lime, ginger, a bunch of stuff in here. It tastes really healthy. I mean, it's not as good as the dragon fruit, but this is probably better for me than that. But yeah, still on my list of things to do. What Up Do Fam. I've not done that as yet. So sorry. Next up is Claude Thompson. He says, hey, Ron, I trust all is well. Claude here, CT from Connecticut with the Cool Season Lawn. Now that my lawn is getting much fuller, thicker, since I've incorporated Primo Max and a new AZ, which I love, by the way. Love to hear that. Man after my own heart. So a new and Primo, as I've told you guys, is not just for warm season grass, not just for Bermuda. You can use it on all grass types. So glad to hear you're getting great results with it, Claude. whenever you get a chance, man, send me a picture. Send me a picture. I'll show all the folks in the live stream all your handiwork. Now, guys, we are an hour into the show so far, and we've only got 52 likes. Now, I mean, it's a small request. If you guys would not mind, hit the like button. It costs absolutely nothing. Free way to support the channel, and I'd really, really appreciate it. On another note, some of you guys were complaining, saying, hey, Memorial Day came around, and you guys didn't, there was no sale or anything, because a lot of folks do sales on Memorial Day, and we didn't. However, there is a way for you to save on the Golf Course Lawn Store between now and next Friday, and I'm going to tell you how. If you look in the pinned comment, which is right here. Well, I can't show it to you guys, but I think I can. Let me get it up here real quick. I can show you. If you look at the pinned comment, assuming you're on YouTube, and if not, I'll post it in there. What we're looking for is feedback from you guys. Like, what kind of grass do you have? What are the challenges you have? How much often do you mow your grass? This type of thing. So if you look here on the pinned comment, assuming you're on YouTube, I'll post a link here in a second. As far as what I'm trying to figure out is a study on the biggest issues faced by lawnmowers in the United States. So what kind of grass do you have? What's the biggest issues that you face? You can check all the ones. How often do you mow? What lawn care methods do you use? Do you do it yourself with DIY? Are you paying someone to do it? What do you spend on lawn care? What's the size of your lawn? So a few things. It takes less than a minute to literally go through this. And if you do, as a token of appreciation for you taking some time and telling us the particulars of your lawn, at the end, you will get a discount code that will allow you to save 5% off of your next order on the Golf Course Lawn Store between now and next Friday. So it's a way to save some for products you were going to buy anyway. You can only use it once, so make it worth it. So you can, help us out, help us improve the content, the stuff that we make for the blogs, the stuff that we make for YouTube. So if you guys would not mind doing that, I mean, I'd really appreciate it. And again, it's a way for you guys to also save a little bit as well if you are someone that plans to buy products from us on the Golf Course Lawn Store, right? But again, you have until Friday. Next Friday, the code expires, and then you're not going to be able to. You can probably still fill out the server. We'll probably shut it down then too. So take advantage of that. Don't miss this opportunity. I'll say that I'll post this here in the main chat now for anyone that's on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. So take this 1-minute survey and save. All right. I sent an email out earlier today about it as well. So, some of you guys may have already seen this, but if you've not seen it, now you have. All right. Okay. Next up, I got to speed up, man. We have Brett Curran. He says, took your advice and just had Tifton Bermuda sod put down in my front yard. When is it okay to put fertilizer / pre-emergent? What would you put down? And when would it be okay to start leveling? Okay, great question, Brett. I don't know how recently it's been, but what I'd say is as soon as the Bermuda grass begins rooting in, which this time of year really shouldn't take that long, start mowing it. Like you start mowing it regularly, that's going to help the Bermuda to really root in, to spread, to encourage new growth. So absolutely would encourage you to get out there and do that. And then as far as leveling, I mean, a month later, if you want. I mean, you can do it even sooner than that, but really if you're going to go light, which is what I recommend, a month later, you can get out there and top dress it. Case in point, you've got Bermuda grass, which is very alpha when it comes to, rooting in quickly, establishing quickly, just, you can beat on it a lot, just grass is just really hard to hurt it. And compared to that, I have Zoysia, which is a little bit more sensitive, more special. You have to whisper sweet nothings to it to get it to grow. And even then, it still takes its sweet time. But my lawn, which was right at a little over a month old when I top dressed it, and it tolerates it just fine. If you look at, where is it? Yeah, so this is 12 or 13 days since it was last top dressed, and this lawn was installed on April 3rd. The team came out to get the Bermuda grass out on the 2nd, and then April 3rd, or maybe it was the 2nd, they put all this in. So you're looking at a lawn that is literally almost 2 months old to the day, and it's been real mowed regularly, and it's been top dressed coming up on 2 weeks ago, and it looks spectacular given everything that it's been through. So your Bermuda grass is going to be just fine as far as top dressing, assuming you go light. Now, as far as fertilizer. So as far as fertilizer, I'd say a month from the time it was installed. So if you install the lawn, say today, or this is past weekend, June 1st. In July, you can begin feeding it if you want to. As far as pre-emergent, so June, July, August, yeah, so you that's enough time. If you want to get a pre-emergent out in the fall, that would be fine for Bermuda grass. What I recommend is Spectacle. Like, it's a really good product. Given that it's still a relatively new Bermuda lawn, and Bermuda's going to tolerate it just fine, but if you want to be ultra conservative, instead of applying Spectacle at just one time at the higher rate, do a split application. So you do one in September and then another one in the end of November, early December. So I'm answering this question as if I assume like you're my neighbor, you're like in Georgia or somewhere with climate similar to mine. But September, early September timeframe for your first app, and then again in early December, and you'll be good to go as far as keeping Poa annua, henbit, all these other nasty weeds out of your lawn. So congrats, sir. We'll clap it up for you. Good job on getting the Bermuda grass, and hopefully that is helpful for you as far as some tips on getting your new lawn up and running. The best thing you can do for it, though, man, is mow it regularly and feed it. Feed it and mow it, and it will take care of the rest. Bermuda grass is pretty cool like that. Doesn't take a whole lot. All right, next up is Claude Thompson. He says, I'm thinking at some point I will need to incorporate turf raking into my schedule. Is this something you would recommend, since I often hear you talk about verticutting your lawn to prevent thatch? Yeah. So with cool season guys, they'll go out and rent like power rakes. You can absolutely do that. The big thing I tell you, Claude, is if you're going to use a power rake, or you're going to do any kind of verticutting or any kind of like cultivation like that, is to go light. Don't be too aggressive with it. You know what I mean? There's no need to do that. If you're going to be you're doing it once every couple of months, every 6 weeks, like there's no reason to overly stress the lawn by trying to be too aggressive. I'd rather you make multiple light passes than try to get it all done in one heavy pass and stress the lawn out unnecessarily. So can do it? Yeah, no worries at all with that. Just go light. And then you said you're trying to prevent thatch buildup. That's really more from like over-fertilization, but at any rate. He said, also, regarding Essential G, how would you suggest I start using this in my cool season lawn program to help with nutrient uptake and soil health? I have 12,000 square feet of lawn. Great question. So Essential G, or now carbonized PNG, I apply that on my lawn once per month. So if you, my lawn care program for the month of June, this past weekend, it was Humic Max 1608 and carbonized PNG over the entire lawn. So if your budget will support it, once per month is what I would recommend. So if you go to the Golf Course Lawn Store, we can do that really quickly. You go to Shop and Lawn Fertilizer. You can use an appropriate fertilizer that you want, that's correct for your lawn based on your soil test results. Humic Max is what I use on mine. And then also once per month, that good carbonized PNG also goes down. So this goes down first, and then the granular Humic Max 1608. So that's what I would do. You would just add that to your granular. It's not a fertilizer, so you're not going to burn the lawn with it. There's not really any as far as issues with applying it heavily. You're not going to cause any damage by doing that. I would just say that what I find is doing it at the same time when I do my granular fertilizer makes a lot of sense. And here's why. Like, say you're someone that you're going to start power raking, or you're going to start like verticutting or doing like some kind of cultivation on the lawn. If you can stack your granular inputs closer together, so you're doing them, say, both at the beginning of the month, that gives you plenty of time to water the lawn, let those granules get into the soil, break down, get in the soil where they can begin working, so that, say, at the end of the month, before you do your next fertilizer, your next carbonized PNG app, like they're going to already be incorporated well into the soil without issue. Whereas if you decide you're going to do, say, fertilizer on the 1st and then carbonized PNG on the 15th, and then your cultivation practices, whatever happens to be at the end of the month, like there's no reason to really space them out like that. And then if you don't do a great job watering them in, or if your lawn is really thick for, especially with carbonized PNG, you might end up picking some of it up whenever you go out there and verticut or turf rake the lawn. So I am a fan of stacking them together at the beginning of the month, and that way it gives me plenty of time, 4 weeks before I'm doing anything that has any potential of potentially picking anything up. So hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, let me know. All right, Hinks Golf Pro says, whoever it was that asked about the green flag, I built a PGA green, and Ron showed the pics. It was around this time last year, actually. You got to send the pictures, man. Hinkle, I think I remember you. I think I do remember you. There was almost like a fence around the green, if I remember correctly. If it's the same person I'm thinking about. But if it's you, if you get a chance and you're happy with the way the lawn looks, send me a picture. Even if you don't get it on the show this week, Next weekend, which will be back to our normal time, which is Friday, 7 p.m. We'll get it on the show then. So if you wanna show folks, what a whole lot of time, and dedication looks like, we'd be happy to show that off. And he said, "Oh, USGA, not PGA, so USGA green, cool, very very cool." Yeah, I think you are the person that I remember. You were the guy. If you're who I think you are, you're the one that lives not too far from Lebanon. Like the fertilizer that we use in the golf course that we recommend, you live somewhere near in PA to where you weren't too far from that. If you're the person that I think you are, so yeah. All right, next up is Brett May. He's about to level the lawn. Yay for that. I plan on scalping, how to cut reset before aeration and leveling. Love it. Love what I'm hearing so far. Do I need to let the grass green up and come back a little bit after the how to cut reset before leveling with sand? Nope. No need. No problem at all. I mean, again, don't go too crazy with the scalp. Like I would imagine you're going down to the dirt. You're probably just taking it down, a little bit. So no, there's no need to wait for the lawn to green back up. I mean, it shouldn't really lose all of its color unless you're getting, again, in my opinion, overly aggressive with the scalp. But no, there's no problem with like doing a scalp / how to cut reset, aeration, push your material out. No problem at all with that, Brett. It will bounce back just fine. I would not delay your top dressing. See, Brett, we know what this sounds like. I'm not trying to accuse you of anything. It sounds like, you want to get the aeration and leveling, so the aeration and scalp done. And you're saying, you know what, that's going to be a ton of work. Maybe I can just space out doing the top dressing for a little bit later if I let the lawn green back up. But no, we're going to have you do all the work in a relatively short period of time. If anything, here's what I would tell you this. If you want to try and break it up, you could do the how to cut, reset, and scalping, say the week before if you wanted to, but I would try and space the aeration and leveling work closer together. Like I would not go out and aerate the lawn and then wait several weeks before you level it, because one of the benefits of aerating right before top dressing is it helps whatever top dressing material you're using to better integrate with the existing soil profile. So you don't want to go out there and aerate and then let a couple weeks go by, some of the holes get filled up and grass starts growing through it or whatever, and then you decide to go put leveling material out. It's still going to be okay, but not going to be as good as if you aerate and then top dress right afterwards. So hope that helps, sir. Great question, and keep us posted as far as how your lawn leveling project goes. Sounds like a lot of fun. All right. Next up is Claude Thompson. He says, finally, what is the difference between Essential G and BioSpectrum that I'm already using in my program? Thanks, Ron. Great question. Okay, so BioSpectrum is a soil microbial food. So as far as restoring the beneficial bacteria, that's the engine of the soil, that's the purpose that BioSpectrum serves. The big thing with Essential G or carbonized PNG is that it is it's compost, but also the component that we really care about the most is the biochar. What biochar does is, you can think of it almost like charged charcoal. And what that does is whenever you put any kind of soil input, so like your granular fertilizers, you have more, for lack of a better term, like little pockets that will hold onto nutrient, which helps prevent leaching. So you put out a nitrogen fertilizer, a lot of the nutrient that you apply that is lost. It kind of just moves through the soil profile and you lose it. But if you use a product like Essential G, like carbonized PNG, any kind of biochar product, it's going to hold on to some of that nutrient and allow it to allow the grass to make use of it for longer. So that's why I can get away with putting out relatively low amounts of nitrogen, as far as from granular anyway, and still have a lawn that looks really good. And I'm convinced that a big part of that is the biochar that's in the granular biostimulants that I use. That's in was Essential G and now carbonized PNG. So they are different. BioSpectrum again is like, you can think of it as like beneficial bacteria that you're literally putting into the soil, which is also useful for people that use fungicides. So one thing that I do on my lawn preventatively is I'll put out a fungicide twice in the spring. While that's really good for keeping disease out of the lawn, it's not so great for the beneficial bacteria that make your fertilizers, and just again, it's like the engine of the soil. So what BioSpectrum does is it helps restore that. That's why you'll find that BioSpectrum is part of our golf course lawn carbon kit, and it gets sprayed every 2 weeks along with everything else that I'm doing. So hope that helps. They are complementary products, but different in what the purposes they serve and in what they do. So hope that helps, Claude. Great question, man. Okay, next up we have Hinkle's Golf Pro says Barenbrug turf type fescue is about 20% rhizomatous. That's cool. Cool. Very nice, man. I didn't realize that. I did not realize there was a fescue that that could spread via rhizomes. So that is cool. Cool to know. You learn something new every day. Next up is JVP. He says, good to see you, Ron. What are my alternative options for leveling Bermuda sod, 8 weeks old, besides super sod leveling sand? I'm in East Cobb. Thank you again for sharing your knowledge with us. Yeah, so before I do that, I got another cash app. I got to put some, acknowledge that person. Thanks so much, William. So he sent a cash app of $15. He says, thank you for lawn game appreciation. So I appreciate that, sir. Thank you for all of the love. So while in my opinion, the leveling mix from Supersod, if you can get it, is the best stuff to use to level your lawn, mainly because there's no trash in it. It's like, as far as like a really good material, like the screen, clean stuff, really easy to use. In my opinion, the best option. What you can do, JVP, is just look in your area, like Google, I'm not sure what city you're in, East Cobb, so you're, I don't know, Marietta area or something like that. So just look up, Marietta lawn leveling or Marietta top dressing. And you should be able to find someone in your area that has either masonry sand or river sand available in bulk. The question you're going to want to ask them whenever you call is if they screen it, meaning like you tell them, listen, I run, I have shortcut turf. I real mow my lawn. I don't want anything with a lot of like twigs and bark and just other trash in it. Like, is the stuff you guys are going to bring out here, is it going to be screened? So that's a question you want to ask anyone or any service that's going to be bringing out material to you, particularly if you're using like river sand. If you get masonry sand, that should be fairly decent. Like, you shouldn't have too much trash in that, but I would still ask anyway. I'd still ask to make sure that what you're getting is not going to have a bunch of rocks and just everything other than sand you don't want in there. So, so hope that helps, sir. I would still personally tell you to go spring for the Supersod level mix because it's a really good product. But if you want something else, I'd say look for a river sand or a masonry sand. There should be no problem finding that in Georgia, in the Marietta area. All right. Antoine Clacking is up next. He says, happy Friday, everyone. Well, kind of Wednesday-ish, but okay, we'll take it. He says, don't forget to hit the like button or thumbs up. Yep, I appreciate that, Antoine. Thanks for all the love and support. Mm-hmm. All right, next up is, you know what? I don't know why juice that comes from a juicer. It tastes really healthy. It's just not fun, though. It's not as much fun as like the dragon fruit. All right, Tutrula says, hey, Ron, and happy Wednesday, everyone. Looking in the past, did you ever see yourself going from desktop zoysia to a full front yard renovation? I thought about it. The thing, Tutrilla, is the reason why I waited so long with doing the zoysia renovation, if to be completely honest, is I was afraid of Bermuda grass breakthrough. That's the big thing, because until recently, the mad scientists at Syngenta gave us recognition in Fusilade 2, which is an amazing combination for selectively removing Bermuda grass out of zoysia and St. Augustine. If you had a zoysia lawn and you had Bermuda grass growing in it, you could try Fusilade 2 by itself, but the rates you need to spray it at to get good control is likely going to cause some injury to the zoysia. But now if you add recognition, the safer that's in it, the metcamiphen, it allows you to spray Fusilade 2 at 0.55 ounces, just over half an ounce per thousand. And it's amazing what this stuff does to Bermuda grass while not really injuring the zoysia or St. Augustine grass. So I wanted that to be solved first, because before then, your options were live with it, like live with the fact that you got Bermuda in there, resod and just wait for it to come back again. Or you could try your luck at using just Fusilade 2 and tolerating, the potential, light damage you might get if you go that route. So with recognition and with recognition, really, Fuselace 2 has been out for a while, but recognition now being like widely available, and it working really well. Now I felt like, yeah, if I go out and I, put, if I get rid of the Bermuda grass, put Zoysia in, then I'm going to be good to go. Because when I get breakthrough, I wish I've already seen a little bit come through here and there already. Seen some Bermuda grass trying to show its ugly head. I got the tool to be able to take care of it. So that's the long short of it. If you really want to know why it took so long, why I waited so long to do it, because I didn't want a blended line. I didn't want Bermuda and Zoysia not really be able to have one or the other. So, on this point, and again, I'm going to probably get hate for this, but on some level, you have to say that from a grass type, from a warm season grass type that you're able to keep relatively clean, Zoysia probably has the advantage over Bermuda. And here's why. Hear me out. So let's say, we can fast forward like a couple of years from now and I say, you know what, Xeon's kind of cool, but I kind of want to, try something new. I want to go back to Bermuda grass. While you can selectively remove Bermuda out of Zoysia, there's not really an easy way to do the other way around. You know what I mean? So say you have Bermuda grass and you have Zoysia in it and you don't want the Zoysia. There's not that I'm aware of anyway, there's not really an easy way to selectively get rid of the Zoysia without damaging the Bermuda grass in the process. Whereas now you can do that. You can get rid of things. So think about it. What I'm trying to say is that there's not really a weed that you cannot control in Zoysia now to include Bermuda grass, but you can't say the same for Bermuda. So on that level, from that perspective, you could say that Zoysia, I guess, is, at least for the time being, is more alpha from a standpoint of like being able to control weeds and keep it, clean of, and there's being able to grow a true monostand. You can do that with Zoysia, whereas Bermuda, you technically can't if you have Zoysia invading it, at least to my knowledge. I don't think you can really get rid of Zoysia selectively. So something to think about. But I don't see myself getting rid of it, man. I like it. I like the grass. It's kind of cool to have both to play with. You know what I mean? And I have to admit that I do like the way Zoysia stripes more than I thought I would. I mean, it actually stripes quite well. So I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. I'm not gonna go crazy now. The backline's still gonna be Bermuda, but I mean, I enjoy having both of them. All right, so next up is Helio Castillo. He is back. He says, once I get my soil results back and purchase the proper fertilizer, would you recommend that I spray a herbicide before or after fertilizer application? Doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. So the whole thing of like, I want to wait to control the weeds before I apply a herbicide or vice versa. It doesn't really matter, Helio, because if you think about it, like people, an old wives' tale is, I don't want to apply fertilizer to the weeds in my lawn because that's going to just make the weeds grow faster. However, if you are using like a selective herbicide, let's say you got like a Bermuda lawn, right? And you got like broadleaf weeds in it and you're trying to get rid of those, and you go out there and you fertilize the lawn. Yes, it's going to help everything grow. However, because you have a selective herbicide that's going to target the weeds, like the plants that you don't want, while leaving the Bermuda alone, the net result is going to be that the Bermuda is going to thrive and going to do really well. The weeds that you're spraying with the herbicide are going to be injured, and whenever you mow them, they're going to die if they're not going to really come back. So you don't have to do one or the other. That's why if you look here, when folks ask about like how, in the world of Ron Henry, how do you take a lawn that's not great to great? There's many of the steps you kind of do at the same time. So if you take a look here, if you go to like just shop and just click on that, like how to get a great lawn in 5 steps. You first eliminate weeds. What this means is, find a selective herbicide that is safe for your grass type and effective against the weeds that you're trying to control. Do a soil test, fertilize your lawn, mow your grass. Like literally, the only thing that is do this before you do the other one is really the soil test and the fertilization, right? But like as far as weed control, like you don't have to have all the weeds gone in your lawn before you begin fertilizing it, and certainly not before you begin mowing it. Like what I'm a huge fan of is get your soil test done, get the correct herbicide that's right for the weeds that you're trying to control, get that out, feed your lawn, and then, really once you give like something like say Celsius or Certainty a couple of days to work. So say you sprayed tomorrow, which would be Thursday, and you mowed Sunday, that's going to produce a really good result because it's going to be plenty of time for the weeds to have absorbed the herbicide, have it like move or translocate through the plant, begin killing it. And then when you mow them, when you cut them off, they're going to have a much more difficult time growing back. So it's not like you have to do one and then the other. If you're using the correct products, it can all really happen around the same time, if that makes sense. So hope that helps, sir. Really, it's a long answer, but I wanted to tell you the why behind why I feel the way I do, as far as that you don't necessarily have to wait to do one or the other, assuming you're using the correct products. All right. It's Me 2017 says, hello, I sprayed iron out of a hose and sprayer, and it got on the concrete and white rocks, and I stained. Any ideas? I don't know the names of it, but there are products that you can use for removing iron stains. I get, funny, my comment section, half of you guys comment about the Soja, but like another, like literally 50% of you also comment about me pressure washing my driveway. You're saying, hey man, you got like iron stains in your driveway and your sidewalk. You should go get something to clean that up. So eventually I will. Long short of it, It's Me is there are products you can use for cleaning iron stains off of pavement. You just have to if you get on Amazon and just search for one, you'll be able to find something. I don't have any off the top of my head I can tell you, but there are definitely ones that will do that, and they will not also harm your grass. Like when I've had my driveway pressure washed in the past, he used it's like I don't forget the name of the product, but it was clear, the product that he was using, and it was safe for the grass. Because I asked him like 17 times, hey, he's not gonna kill my grass, is it? He's like, no. So he's not gonna damage the grass, is it? No. Why is that there's pressure washing? I walk out and said, hey man, a lot of it's going on my grass. It's grass gonna be fine, right? He's like, yeah, there's no problem at all. And he was right. It did absolutely nothing to the Bermuda grass, and did a great job removing like all the stains. So something I got to get done again at some point. All right. Next up is Brothers in Bitcoin. All right. He says, hey, Ron, I'm in Gwinnett, Georgia. My last feeding was mid-March, and I used Let's Go 18-24-12 after seeding Walmart Shade and Sun Mix. This will not end well. Coming into summer, what fertilizer would you recommend? Well, I mean, the way to know the best fertilizer that's going to fit for your lawn is to use a soil test, because this will tell us exactly what nutrients, if any, your lawn is deficient in, and then we can get a fertilizer that matches that. So you're actually using you're matching the input to what the actual needs are. Having said that, probably the most popular fertilizer that folks we sell more of than anything else that people seem to really love is Humic Max 1608. Without a soil test result, I'm not really going to send you in and put you into a fertilizer with phosphorus in it. So this would be a great option for Bermuda grass. It's what I personally use on my lawn. Great product. You can see it's a nice smaller prill, 150 SGN prill. So this is you'll be able to apply it. It's going to disappear really easy in the soil profiles. It's great product. I mean, I have no reason to really switch away from it. And lots of folks use it and enjoy it. So that's what I would put you into, assuming you're not going to get a soil test done. But the best answer is go get a soil test and then feed your lawn based on said soil test. If you've last fertilized in March, you're definitely due. I mean, that's a minute. That's a while between your last fertilization to now. All right, but I sent you a link there. You can go take a look at it, read over it to your heart's content, and you can let us know what you end up going with. Robert Rainey is entered the chat. He says, good evening, everyone. What's going on, Robert? Hopefully you're doing well, sir. And then 2 Karen Sam is up next. He says, I just got a powered reel mower, and I'm coming from a manual one, and it's night and day as far as cut quality. Who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thunk it, man? Getting a heavier machine, faster clip, higher clip rate. Overall, it's going to be, it's going to produce a better result. So I'm glad that you got some new equipment. We'll clap it up for you. Congrats on that. And there is another level from going from a rotary to push reel mower, and then going from push reel to powered reel. There's another level. And thanks so much, JVP. I just saw you sent a Cash App. Thanks for that. I really do appreciate that. Thanks for all of the love and support. All right, Brothers in Bitcoin says, also, what's the best tool to measure the square footage of my lawn? There's tons of them on the internet. If you just look up like your lawn measuring tool, if you Google that, you'll find one. Supersod has one, I believe. Make sure I'm not fibbing. I'm pretty sure they do. Actually, I know they do because I've used it. Where can I find it? Here we go. Yep. So if you go to their website, and again, there's other tools as well too, and you go to Yard Area Calculator, and you go here and you plug in your address, put your enter your street address in there. It will zoom in, and then you can just draw waypoints around, like draw waypoints around your front lawn, around your back lawn, and then it will add all those different areas up and say, hey, your lawn is this size. So if you want to use that tool, you can check it out right here, Brothers in Action. It's an easy way to, let's see, lawn measuring tool. It's an easy way to figure out like what kind of property size you are dealing with. All right, it gets you pretty close. I mean, the best, most accurate way is to get out a tape measure and go measure it. But I mean, that's going to get you within 100 square feet, which, you know, for the most part is close enough. All right. Okay, next up we have Brad Burney. He says, the front lawn is looking great on my way back from Charlotte. I love your show. Your neighbor Brad. Cool, man. Let's go. Brad, are you Brad from like next to Alex Brad? Well, if it's you, I mean, drive safe. It's cool to see that you're on the show, man. Appreciate you. So if you're the Brad that I'm thinking about, Brad has zoysia as well. He has a zoysia lawn as well. Yours is not Xeon though. Was yours Emerald? I think, Brad. I forget what kind it is, but it is. He does have zoysia as well. Also look quite nice. Justin King says, looks like brown patch. Yep, I agree with you as well, Justin. Looks like brown patch to me. Next up, we have Michael Thomason. He says, Ron, I have a Revolution 26 I bought new in March. It's slightly too big for my 1,650 square foot yard. I want to downsize to a Rev 20. Revs 26 cost about $3,100. What would be a good price for the Rev 26? I don't know, man. Whatever you can get for it. I mean, if you priced it, so a brand new one is $3,100. If you priced it at, you write it in March, I don't know, get someone a deal. So $2,000, $2,200. I mean, assuming it's in like great shape, no damage, all this kind of stuff, then yeah, you should be able to move it for just over $2,000. I would think. And again, this is assuming that it's in great shape. So yeah, that's what I would say. But just get on one of the Facebook groups or whatever and ask them, you know, see who see if anyone's interested in a mower. I mean, I know Real Rollers also has a Facebook page. I'm not sure if they allow you know, you to list like mowers for sale on there. They may or may not allow that. But if they do, that would be like the ideal place to find someone that wants to buy a, buy your mower. And yeah, Hinkles Pro just sent me some pictures. Yeah, it's the one I was thinking about. So we have two pictures. So first one is, I guess, the beginning of the year, and the other one is before the green was opened for service, he says. So let me see here. Hinkle Green 1, and then I'll show you guys. I mean, this is what I would want if I were doing a golf green. I just do not have the time. I don't have the time, man, to pull some, man, to look this up. But man, it looks incredible. All right, so this is how it looked last year. I think you said in May, which it looks nice, right? But that's like the start of the season. And then this is how it looks when he's got it all prettied up and ready to go. Which I mean, I don't know where you would deduct points for that. I mean, the stripe action is on point. All the manicure work around it is all nice. I mean, you look at all your mulch, even that's clean. I mean, just on so many levels, that's really, really well done. We can just say that that's well done. Yeah, this is the place I was thinking about. So thanks so much for sharing this, man. It looks great, looks spectacular, going from that at the beginning of the season, and then you really get it all tuned up, looking like that. Pretty awesome. So great work. If you want to keep sending us pictures throughout the season as as it progresses, feel free. But it looks really good, man. Really nice work. All right, next up is Kenneth Sherrill. True Gator fans sent me some pictures to show you. And I already showed that. Make sure I got everyone's pictures on here that they sent to me. Oh, one more. So on the topic of zoysia, here's the one thing I'll tell you guys, right? Whereas I know you guys, all the Bermuda folks, you guys love me. We're peeps forever. Getting a little bit of zoysia, now I've gotten a little bit more respect from the zoysia crowd. Like before, they used to think I was like some brute, but now they figure I'm a person with actually some class and taste now. So I'm getting pictures from zoysia folks, And this is one from a gentleman that has some Palisades zoysia, Josh C. And he wanted to show me, hey, this is what Palisades zoysia looks like, and looks incredible. Very nice work. Color looks great. Stripe action is on point. And again, the nice thing is you have to compare his lawn that's in the foreground to the lawn that's in the background. So it really shows you like how much dedication and consistency the difference it can make to a standard turf grass, especially when compared against another lawn that I'm sure they mow it, but just not the same level of care that Josh is putting into his Palisades zoysia. Nice work. I like it. All right, next up is Kenneth Sherrill. So get your opening here. Kenneth, he says, I went against suggestions and did a full reset this spring here in Indy, planting turf-type tall fescue. I pre-germinated using Milorganite as a carrier. What do I do next? How long do I wait to attack the weeds? So the thing I'd say, Kenneth, is you should be mowing it regularly. That's thing one. That's going to help encourage a lot of growth in the grass and just help it establish well. And then if you are going to spray for weeds, if you can just spot spray, that would be ideal. That's where I would really push you towards. I mean, because cool season grass is just a lot more, I mean, it's not a lot more delicate, but you just want to be a lot more careful given that this is a relatively new lawn and you are growing it from grass seed. So if you've got a few clumps of maybe crabgrass or whatever you happen to have growing in it and you want to spot spray those areas, that would be okay. But given, let me see, we're in June now. I don't know what month you did it, but let's say for a lawn that is only a couple months old, again, being a cool season lawn too, I'd be careful about broadcast sprays over the entire lawn. So I'd say if you want to spot spray, fine, but I would avoid a broadcast spray at this point. And the best thing you can do for it is just to keep regularly mowing it. Keep up with your mowing. That's going to help encourage lots of new growth. Cool, man. Some more pictures. Nice. Nice. And this is Memorial Day. So this was, I don't know, last week. So the same Hinkle Greens Pro, his lawn last weekend. So if you want to see how it looks now, man, it looks good. Dude, I don't even want to begin to ask you how much work goes into creating this. I can't imagine how much time you spend on this. So this is Memorial Day weekend. And that's tight, dude. I don't know what height you're mowing that at, but that looks good. That looks good. That looks better than a lot of the greens on the courses around here. I mean, that's tight. There's nothing wrong with that. Looks incredible, man. Really nice work. Very, very nice. All right. Matt the Mailman says, evening all. My PlantNet app says my lawn is infested with quackgrass or perennial rye. Is there something I can spray on my Wisconsin fescue grass that will take care of them but not harm the fescue? What controls quackgrass in fescue? I'm not sure off the top of my head, man. I'm pretty good with warm season grasses, but I don't know the combinations for warm season lawn off the top of my head. Let me do some digging, Matt. I think you've emailed me before. If you don't mind, send me an email and say, hey, Ron, this is Matt from the live stream. You're going to research quackgrass. I took a screenshot of it, but if you send me an email, then I'll actually remember to work on it and see if I can get an answer for you. All right. So yeah, it's ron@golfcourselawn.com. I'm pretty sure we've emailed in the past, so you should have my email address. All right. Antoine Clark says, not Friday. Yep, I agree. He says, the lawn looks good. It's getting there. Andre tells you, what's going on, Ron? I got surprised by tonight's live stream. Yeah, so I have a commitment Friday night, so it's either no live stream or live stream happens tonight. So I figure tonight versus skipping a week, right? Next up is Mr. Brian Rickard. He says, I wanted to commend you. My first job was to get rid of dandelions/weeds. You recommended Spectracide. I used Spectracide. Weed Stop worked great. Overseeding near Labor Day. Baby steps. I like it. Very, very cool, Brian. Glad to hear you're getting the weeds under control. I mean, dandelions are pretty easy one to knock out, but I'm glad to hear that you got your herbicide out, got the weeds knocked out, which is good. Great news, man. Nothing like getting weed under control. And what I would tell you, like what you just said, the last comment, baby steps, is really important because a lot of folks will take a lawn that's infested with weeds and they will say, I want to go from like 0 to hero in a week. And it just doesn't work like that way. I mean, you look at something like Hinkle's Pros Green, like I look at that and I can appreciate that. I can appreciate how awesome that looks. But I am sure there is so much work and time that goes into that, like consistency that it takes to do something like that and have it look like that, like all the time is not easy. It's like another job. So big thing I'd say is you're making progress, keep going. The most important thing is to keep up with your mowing. Like the thing that sets a manicured lawn apart from a lawn that just looks like you get, fertilizer applied on it every couple of months is regular mowing. So, if you use everything that we sell in the golf course lawn store and you don't mow your lawn, it's going to be really green, but it's not going to have a great manicured look. So the thing I'd always encourage you is you get the weeds under control, really, really keep up with your mowing. That's going to be the secret sauce to really give you that nice manicured look that will make your lawn the envy of your neighborhood. All right. Phil Donda says, anyone know of a lawn leveling company that services Dallas Hiram area? I do not. I don't know. I don't know of anyone that does it. You may have to do it yourself, man. May have to. So I am not sure on that one. Next up is like the ones I know. I know of like Level Lawns and Sandman Top Dressing, but I don't know if they're going to go to Dallas. That's a hike. So next up is JMU777. He says, hey Ron, I have Bermuda. Good choice for grass. I keep it about 1 inch. I had some work done on my house, which caused them to rip some areas up. I'll be doing sand compost to help level. Can I fill a spot 1 to 2 inches low? Yeah. I mean, yeah. You can. Bermuda will grow over or through that eventually. 1 or 2. Yeah, I mean that would be okay, Jamie. I mean, just yeah. A couple of inches is gonna be fine for a Bermuda lawn. I really wouldn't go much more than that. Like for example, I'm thinking about the zoysia on the vanity strip, and I did have one area that was probably about an inch of material, a small little section, and the zoysia is slowly growing over that. So Bermuda will be just fine. You'll be okay. All right. Next up is Diamond. He says, Ron, the dawn of warm season, turf cutter of grass, fertilizer of lawns. Have a good evening. I appreciate that. How can I live up to an intro like that? I appreciate it, Diamond. And then DH says, Everspa Lawn Services. So there you go. You got someone that found someone for you in the Dallas Hiram area. So I wasn't much use for you, but you got someone else that found someone. All right, Top Gun Third is up next. It says, good evening, Ron. What's the appropriate mixture rate for Pillar SC for a backpack sprayer? Is it 1 ounce per 1,000 in 1 gallon or 2 gallons? Thanks. Either way will work. Top Gun Third. If you read the label, I think the label will say 2 gallons per 1,000 square feet. The benefit of doing that is that if you don't run irrigation afterwards, like if you do the 2 gallons per 1,000, in other words, if you use 2 gallons of water as the carrier for 1 ounce of pillar, then the need to necessarily have to run irrigation right afterwards is not quite as it's not quite as necessary. What I do is I apply it I use 1 gallon per 1,000 square feet and just run irrigation afterwards. So you can do it either way. If you have a larger lawn, I am a fan of doing 1 ounce in 1 gallon of water over 1,000 square feet, because then I'm not filling up my sprayer as many times. Like if I do, like with my lawn right now, it takes me 3 backpack sprayers, 3 tankfuls to do the entire lawn, right? If I'm doing what I'm recommending to you. If I did it the other way, where I did 2 gallons per 1,000, I'd end up having to fill up 6 times. So why do that when I can just, spray it at a slightly more concentrated rate and just run irrigation afterwards. I've done it both ways, and you get great results both ways. I'd say if you have if you don't have irrigation, or you don't want to run irrigation, then 2 gallons for over 1,000 square feet would be the way to go. So hope that helps, sir. I mean, and either way will work well. One is definitely going to require that you run irrigation afterwards. The other one, probably not as critical. All right, next up is Real Estate with Ellie. He says, hey, Ron, what's your thoughts on plugging versus resodding? I have a large dead spot on a slope that is completely dead. Thanks. It depends on how picky you are about the grass matching. So with like, I personally, I've been burned on getting Bermuda saw that's Tifway 419, but doesn't match my existing Tifway 419 that the house came with. So for that reason, if you want to ensure like the area that you're about to repair perfectly matches the existing lawn, plugging is going to be the way to go. The negative to plugging is it takes quite a bit longer for that area to establish, because you're pretty much relying on that the plugs establishing, and then if I'm assuming you got Bermuda grass or something that spreads, then having them spread to fill in that bare spot. The benefit to sodding is that you can literally go from no grass in an area to grass in that area just like that, right? The only negative you might run into is that if you get the wrong cultivar, or you get one that you get something that just doesn't match your existing grass, then you're kind of stuck with it. So either way can work if you're really picky and you're patient. If you're picky and patient, I would say plugging is the way you're absolutely guaranteed that it's gonna match and it's gonna be when you're done with it. If you're not that picky and you're not that patient, then sodding is going to be the way to go, because that way you go from no grass to grass overnight. So hope that helps real estate with Ellie. Either way will work. One just takes a lot longer. All right. Next up is Justin King. He says, Ron, how is the color of zoysia compared to Bermuda at this point? Has it turned a darker green? Has it turned? Is it dark? It's not darker in color so much, Justin. It's more of it's like the hue of zoysia is just different. It's more of I mean, I hate to say emerald because like emerald zoysia is a thing, but it's more of like an emerald color than like the deep saturated green that Bermuda is. I mean, zoysia is also got a lot of saturation to it too as well, but it's a different hue. The best way to describe it is that they both are green. They both look excellent. Just that like the hue is just different. Like, I mean, I'll show you. Like if you look at this, which again, my lawn's not fully grown in, so it's not really a great example. But if you look at the color of that's a nice deep green. It's not as dark as the Bermuda is, but it's still gorgeous. It still looks great. So I mean, I guess if your thing is I want the darkest color grass, and not I mean actually like naturally dark, you're not gonna use like a bunch of iron to try and synthetically make it darker, then to my eye, and I'm probably gonna get hate for this, but to my eye, Bermuda is a darker green than zoysia is. But it's not like zoysia doesn't look good. It's not like zoysia is like a lime green that's off-putting. It's a beautiful grass. Like, I mean, the video really doesn't even do it justice. It's absolutely gorgeous in person. But it's just the hue is different. So they're both great. You can't go wrong either way. I'd say that if you have a lawn, you're planning to use it a lot, then Bermuda is probably a better choice because it just tolerates wear better and recovers from injury better than zoysia will. But for a purely ornamental, just something just to sit there and just to look pretty, that'll get light use, that doesn't take a whole lot of maintenance to take care of, then zoysia is really nice. Like one of the biggest things, and I've said this in the either it was yesterday or this morning, the one cool thing that I am liking about zoysia, and this might change as it gets fully established, is that while Zeon, everyone says that zoysia grows really slow, and I'm not really convinced about that. Like growing, like the shoot growth, like the upward growth, the growing tall is actually, faster than you would actually think. It's the lateral spread that is slower than Bermuda grass. And the cool thing about that is whenever you edge it, like the edges on the sidewalk, the grass doesn't grow over like an edge job nearly as quickly as like Bermuda does. Like if I go out and say I weren't using Primo, I'd have to edge my Bermuda lawn at least once a week, really probably twice a week to keep everything looking good. Zoysia, I'll be able to get by with doing it once a week, and it's gonna hold an edge really nice because the grass just doesn't spread as quickly or as aggressively as Bermuda does. So it's kind of a nice benefit to it. So overall, they're both great, man. I can't really say one is better than the other. They both are awesome. They both have their purposes. Zoysia is absolutely gorgeous. Bermuda is absolutely gorgeous. It just really just pick one and go with is what I would tell you. But I get it. Now that I have some, I get why people that have it like it so much. All right, William Thompson's up next. Says, "Hey Ron, thanks for all the lawn game you're sharing. Been soaking it all in. I sent over a question to some pics over to shop email. Sorry if it's the wrong address. Keep up the legendary work. Yeah, no worries. William, I could probably, I don't know, let me check that email, but I can probably see if I can find it. I may have to look for it after the show because that's an inbox that I don't typically have on this this mail client. So I'll have to get on my other computer and pull it up, William. So if I don't answer it now, I will, or I'm not gonna be able to answer it now, but I'll look for your email after the show and I'll get you a response to whatever you're asking. So sorry about that, but again, I appreciate you watching and thanks for all the kind words. And I will get you an answer tonight. It just won't be on the show because I don't have that email right here. All right, Kyler Walker is up next. He says, hey, Ron from OKC, how would you compare the functionality of Pillar SC utilizing Caravan G, besides one being liquid and the other being granular? They're different. So if you think about Pillar SC, there's two fungicides in Pillar SC. There's a class, I think it's class, is it 3 and 11? I think so, or group 3 and 11. Caravan G has azoxystrobin as the fungicide that's in it, whereas Pillar SC has pyroclasstrobin, which is, I believe, in the same class as azoxystrobin. But in addition to that, it also has tritaconazole. So, in other words, if you're looking for purely a fungicide, Pillar SC is a better product. If you're looking for something to control brown patch, either one of them will work well. Large patch or brown patch, either one is going to be fine. If you're looking for something to control dollar spot, then Pillar SC is going to be a better choice. So Caravan, great product, but it doesn't replace like a dedicated fungicide. It's certainly not a dual mode of action fungicide like Headway G or Pillar SC. So hopefully that helps. They both great. If it were me, here's how I see I see Caravan. Like for someone that is looking for a combination product to get their insecticide out and a fungicide app in the spring, that's where Caravan G absolutely shines. Like I like to do fungicide apps in May and then again in June. So where I would see Caravan being used would be like for the May fungicide app. So you're trying to get your grub control out and also get your initial fungicide app out, then Caravan G, great option for that. For June, for the second fungicide, I would not do Caravan again because you don't need to double up on applying insecticide like 2 months in a row. So I would do Caravan the first month, like in May, and then for June, I would switch to a dedicated fungicide product like Headway G or Pillar SC. Either one of them will work fine. So hope that helps, Kyler. They're both great products. They're just designed to do different things. But as a pure fungicide, Pillar SC is a much better choice, or Headway G is a much better choice in my opinion than Caravan. Just controls more stuff, controls more diseases, more lawn damaging pathogens than what's in Caravan. Okay, let's see here. Next up is Phil Londa says, do you mind asking what you paid for how many square oh, yes, not for me. It's for someone else. Okay, next up is DJ Rockefeller. He says, hey, Ron, I sprayed Celsius Uncertainty today. It dried for about 3 to 4 hours. It's raining, as you may know. Will it still be effective? Yep, it'll still be fine. If you use surfactant along with it, so if you use Celsius Certainty and you use some surfactant as well, then yeah, 3 to 4 hours is going to be fine before rain. You'll still get a good result. And you said, also, I'm planning on doing a dethatch and verticut in approximately 2 weeks. How long should I wait to aerate the lawn? I mean, I guess there's not. I'm trying to think. Is there any reason? I'm trying to think. Is there any reason to really wait? And I can't really think of any. If you wanted to dethatch and verticut, like, because you're in Georgia, yeah, I think you're Bermuda grass. If you were gonna, verticut and dethatch, say this week, and then next weekend you wanted to aerate and level, assuming that's what you're gonna do, that would be fine. There's no issue with doing that. I can't think of any reason why you really need to space them out. DJ Rockefeller. Again, if you got in verticut, don't be too aggressive. Like I've got tons of videos showing like whenever I verticut the lawn, like what it looks like when it's done. Don't be too aggressive. And if you want to, go out and aerate a week or two afterwards, there's no problem with doing that. All right. Next up is William Thompson. He is back. He says, kind of new here. Started out the year trying to renovate my Bermuda lawn. I put down Celsius and Sledgehammer and got to cleaning out the junk. I like it. Just ran the Scarifier yesterday and mowed it clean. Sounds like you're on your way to me, man. Sounds like you're on your way to me. And then Hinkles Pro Golf says, yes, sir. Right on, Ron. I am that guy. I'll send along some update of the ups and downs of the green. Wish we could do this every night. I always look forward to the turf talk. You know, I thought about doing this twice a week. I thought about doing like it would have to be like Wednesday night and Friday night, and it's just too close together. I also thought about maybe like Monday night and Friday night. But I don't know, man. I mean, you guys are, I don't know. I don't know that most people would even want that. We'll see. I might play with it. We'll see. Maybe not during the busy part of the year, but as we get closer to, well, I don't know. Maybe this time of the year would be the time to do it, because the time that people actually would show up and actually care is now, when you got problems in your lawn, right? If I start doing it in the fall, like it'll just be like a hangout talk where we can talk about the good old days when our grass was actually growing versus when it was all checked out and dormant, right? Yeah, I'll just think about it. Hinkles Pros. It's just like anything else, just time. All right, next up is William Thompson. He says, I'm planning on throwing down a liquid 16.4H for Father's Day, then granular 802 for July's dry fert. I've also put down Medina Soil Activator and Petromax Lawn Aerator. Okay, sounds like you got a lot going on. And he's just thinking about a possible top dressed in San Antonio, Texas. Wish me luck. I just have fun with it, man. Don't go too heavy is what I would tell you. Don't go, limit the amount of material that you apply to 1 cubic yard per 1,000 square feet, and you'll be in a pretty good spot. Pretty tough to mess it up if you follow that guidance. All right, we got a Cash App. This one is from Mr. Craig Kennedy from Simple Cash Offer. Thank you so much, Craig. I really appreciate that. Thank you for the Cash App. Thanks for all the love. And then a question from Helio. He says, will NutriKelp or Primo help my St. Augustine turf? Yeah, so NutriKelp, yes, a kelp product is going to help your grass, and then Primo is going to reduce mowing frequency. So if you're looking to mow less, get potentially a slightly darker color because of reduced mowing, then yeah, Primo's got some benefits. So yes, both those products can be used on a St. Augustine lawn. It just depends on what you're trying to achieve. So the answer is yes. Yes, both of them will work fine on your St. Augustine lawn. All right. Next up, we got Kyler. He says, install some hybrid Bermuda sod in some spots in the front and backyard in May. Is it safe to apply liquid fertilizer and micros? Definitely rooted in, and I have plenty of cuts already. Yeah, absolutely. That's fine. Yes. If you want to go out and spray liquid fertilizer, sure. Yep. No worries at all with that, Kyler. No issues at all. Next up is Gabriel Abner. Says citric acid is also good to remove iron stains. Thanks for that, Gabriel. Appreciate that. And then next up is Jose. He's a question again. He says, the blue dye that's in my backpack sprayer, will it stay in my concrete if I were to accidentally spray it on the walkways? It will temporarily, but within a few days, both like water will wash a lot of it away, and then also the sunlight will bleach it as well. So if you're talking about turf mark, which is what I use, that is not going to permanently stain your driveway or sidewalk. So yeah, no issues with that. All right. Real estate with Ellie says, I sent a screenshot on Instagram. Thanks. You have to take a look at it, Ellie, after the show. I can't actually look at screenshots while I'm here. Like, I'm streaming to Instagram, but I'm using like some software that will like do video to there, but I can't look at like private messages or anything like that or DMs on there. And then Brad is like, Emerald. That's right. So Emerald. So Brad has got Emerald. You know what? I have to. So Brad, if you're okay with it, I'll have to do that, man. It's not a compare. Well, it's not like a which one is better than which. But I will show folks, because you're like literally, I don't know, a pitching wedge, maybe a gap wedge from my lawn. What like the comparison between Emerald and Xeon? Like, hey, this is an Emerald zoysia lawn. This is a Xeon zoysia lawn. So yeah, if you're good with it, I'll come over there, walk by, and show some video of your lawn and compare it to Xeon. And you have to look at you have to compare it mainly from a color standpoint, because Brad does mow his quite a bit taller. It's maintained taller than mine is, but you'll be able to see the color differences. They both look great. They both are absolutely gorgeous. Every time I drive by his lawn, I'm like, man, it looks really good. Car looks great. Okay, so next up is Terrence Stamps. He says, good evening all. Please don't forget to hit the like button. Definitely do that. Yeah, guys, if you've not done that, we got 100 folks in the live stream, only 94 likes. So if you can hit the like button, I'd really appreciate it. And then William Thomas says, got the email over to the proper inbox. Awesome, William. Great. I'll look at it and I'll get you an answer here after the show. Actually, I see your email here. So what is the question? Okay, so I see what you got. So I mean, it's progress. So I see where you started out and I see where you are now. It's not as bad. I'm not sure if you actually had a question as much as wanted to show folks how you have improved. We can do that because you know this is definitely a starter from the bottom and now we're here, man. This is it's you did some work. All right, so this is where he started out, and I mean, let's just say it was a process. So that's where he was. Looks like he did some cleanup work. Looks like he's out there turf raking and getting trash out of it. The lawn was not looking its best. And then now it's looking more like this. So let me get this picture off and show you now. So overall, guys, I mean, you have to look at that. I mean, it's only in this season, going from that to, where are we? Yeah, going from that to this guy, you know, in the course of not that much time, we're only in June, is really good. That's big progress. I'd say, dude, whatever, you know, you're definitely doing the right things. It's you're on your way. It'll only get better from here. You know, it's interesting. I'm looking at, anytime I see a privacy fence like what you have, I always look at the grass right next to it. And you seem to be very fortunate. Like, however the sun goes over your lawn, it doesn't seem like it's causing it to thin out, like from what I'm seeing. So that's cool. That's a good benefit for you. So yeah, keep going, man. It's only going to get better the more you work on it. All right. Next up is Inside America. It says, is it advisable to apply fertilizer to Bermuda grass before heavy rainfall, considering the potential waste of resources due to runoff? What do you call heavy rainfall? Like, I mean, if you're going to get an inch, 2 inches of rain, I would not really consider that heavy. For most people, I'd say if you got rain in the forecast and you're gonna put your fertilizer out, then I would absolutely do it before rain. Like, let the rain water your fertilizer in. It's gonna do a better job and it's gonna be far more economical than running your irrigation system. And as far as wasting it, potential runoff, in my opinion, that is largely overblown. So if you're worried about, I go out and I apply a granular fertilizer to my lawn, and then I get, a rainfall, and then all the fertilizer prill are going to wash off the lawn. I just put it on and end up, on the street or in a drain. I mean, can that happen? I mean, like, if you got really compacted, clay soil and your lawn's on a really big slope and you get, 2, 3, 4 inches of rainfall, sure, you're probably going to lose some of it. But for most people, that's just, it's something that a lot of people are worried about, and it's really overblown. Like, for example, I had a viewer, and I'll kind of tell you why I say that. I had a viewer that had a slope. Their front lawn was sloped more than mine is. So I'm talking about a really steep slope. And they put out granular prodiamine. And their big concern was, I did prodiamine, and we had like heavy rain, and I'm sure I lost it all. I'm sure it all ran off. And mind you, this is a slope that's even steeper than mine. And I told them, okay, well, if you think you lost it, there's an easy way to tell. You got a heavy slope, you had a heavy rainfall. Go to the bottom of your street, like go to the bottom of your lawn, like where your lawn meets the sidewalk or meets the curb, and look there, because prodiamine's yellow. Like, the prill is a yellow prill, and if you look, you should see like a big streak of yellow there if all of it ran down and it all settled there. And he went and he looked, and there was really nothing. So, as long as you you apply it at the correct rates, and you've got grass, like you've actually got some plant to hold on to it, that actually is a pretty good job holding the soil in place and holding whatever you apply to the lawn also in place. So to answer your question, Inside America, I really wouldn't worry about it. I welcome rainfall whenever I am going to put a fertilizer out. Like, if I can apply my granular fertilizer a day or two early, I'll even do that if I know there's going to be, some substantial rain in the forecast, because getting it watered in for free is always better than running irrigation. Okay, next up is Savros. He says, Hey Ron, Byron here from Cape Town, South Africa. Cool, man. Wow, another other part of the world, like literally not just on the other side, but like down here. Like we're here and you're like down here. He says, it's winter here. Well, almost. Can I apply a herbicide and insecticide as well as some good nutrients in the same filled sprayer? Can you? Yes. Would I? In most cases, no. Unless the herbicide you're talking about is pre-emergent, I'd be inclined to tell you no, because most herbicides, Savros, like if you're talking about like post-emergent herbicides, they work via foliar uptake, meaning like they work kind of the way how sunscreen works. Like you want a thin coat, and that you're painting, you're lightly painting the leaf of the plant or the weed that you're targeting to try and control it, right? Whereas most insecticide products are designed to be watered in, so they benefit from like a larger droplet size. So putting an insecticide and a post-emergent herbicide in the same spray tank, I mean, could you? Yeah, but I mean, it's in most cases also, given that with most post-emergent herbicides, for them to work really well or to get the most out of them, you also want to use like a spray adjuvant like surfactant, so which helps the product to stick to the leaf of the plant better. Like you don't want to use this when you're applying insecticides. So can you? Yes. Would I? No, because in most cases, the spray nozzle that you want to use for those products is different. And then the other additives that you want to use with them to get the best results, they don't necessarily play nicely together. So for me, I would do them separately. I would do the foliar spray and the insecticide sprays, the applications separately. So hope that helps. Again, you can do what you want to do, but for me, I would do them separately. Like I'm trying to think of if I've ever done that, and the answer is no. Like I've done pre-emergent and post-emergent herbicides in the same spray tank. And when I do that, I just omit the surfactant, but I've not done insecticide and or fungicide in the tank at the same time as like a post-emergent herbicide. So I would say no. I personally wouldn't do it. All right, Joe Wavy is up next. He says, hey Ron, I'm a new homeowner in Dallas, Texas area. I dethatched my front lawn and I pulled some roots out from my Bermuda grass lawn. Why would you do that? What did the Bermuda do to you? He says, how would you fix these dead bare spots? So you really went after it. So you didn't like lightly verticut it. You went hard with a dethatcher. Just time. Give it time. It will spread back into those areas, Joe. Not to beat a dead horse, but this is kind of why I'm not a huge fan of dethatching. And even if you are going to dethatch, to go light, not to be too aggressive with it. The good news is though, you got Bermuda grass and you also live in Dallas, Texas, where it gets really hot and there's, gonna be plenty of sunlight. So given that we're still only now moving into the hotter time of the year, the lawn's going to recover. In a few weeks, you should see a nice improvement in the areas that are a bit more bare or thin because you overdid it with the dethatcher. So I really wouldn't do a whole lot other than just give it time. Keep feeding the lawn, keep fertilizing it on the same program that you've been doing, and just give it time, and it'll fill in. And next time you decide to verticut or dethatch, I'm going to say not to do it, but just don't be so aggressive. Like set up the verticutter or dethatcher to where it's just above the surface. That way you're going to take there's a lot less chance of you doing what you did, which is, you just tearing and ripping at the grass, which just causes a lot more unnecessary damage without the benefits. All right. Simple Cash Offer is up next. He says, good evening, Ron. I sprayed my biostimulant cocktail. I walked kind of slow and still did over half of my lawn. My yard is 8,400 square feet. For the second round, I did 3 gallons and did less bio cocktail. Please advise. I'm trying to see what the question is. So you sprayed a biostimulant cocktail. You walked kind of slow and did over half the lawn. And you did another 3 gallons and did less. Okay, so when you say you did over half, like half of 8,400, I would say over half, we're going to call that like 5,000-ish square feet. And then you did 3 gallons over the remaining 3,000-ish square feet. That sounds good to me. So without knowing exactly how much area you covered with the first spray, it's hard to know what, I guess what your question really is, but at any rate, it sounds good to me. Like if you did, I mean, say you had a 4-gallon sprayer. If you did a total of 7 gallons over 8,400 square feet, that's a bit, I mean, probably a bit more concentrated than I would have done it. Like I'd have probably done 2 full tankfuls over, at least 2 full tankfuls over 8,400 square feet. But I mean, if you got good coverage and the amount of product that you added to the tank is correct for that amount of square footage, you should be just fine. All right. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. All right, next up is JVP. He says, thanks again, Ron, for the show. How late in the season can I lay down new Bermuda sod in Marietta, Georgia? Thanks in advance and take care. If you can do whatever you want, because Bermuda, I mean, I've seen people that sod Bermuda in December. Case in point, that's when my lawn was sodded, was in December. So as far as you being able to sod the lawn and it be just fine the next year, that doesn't really matter. In Georgia, pretty much year round if you want to. As far as if you want to sod it and get it established and have it looking nice, I would try to get it done no later than August. Like I would, like this month is good, next month is also still good. But if you're asking me, how late can I sod it and still have it get established and be able to mow it, maybe even top dress it this year, I would get it done sooner than later. But as far as when can you sod it and still have the lawn be just fine, like for the next season, it doesn't really matter with Bermuda grass. Like again, people do it in the middle of December and it is just fine the following year. So so hope that helps. I guess if you're planning to do it, I would get on it now than waiting. If it were me, I would not wait. Okay, JVP. No, I already answered that one. SB Ways up next. He says, hey, Ron, what are your methods for keeping up with your pH in the turf? Soil testing and lime applications. So in my case, my soil pH tends to trend acidic over time. So it tends to trend lower and lower as time goes by. So not necessarily every year, every other year, I tend to have to do a lime application. So that's what I do. I soil test and then I apply lime. And in most cases, it is, I tend to do a dolomitic lime so I can boost the magnesium levels as well. But yeah, that's it. Soil testing. And then soil test says, hey, your pH is trending lower. So it's, on the cusp, like some maybe high 5s, low 6s, I'll do a lime app. Same thing that you would do. You just go out and you would get a soil test done. And then based on where your pH is, if your soil is really alkaline, you could use a sulfate of some sort to bring it down. And if your soil is acidic, like where my soil tends to try and go, if I leave it alone long enough, I would use lime to raise it up. All right, Bump and Lump is in the live stream. He says, still have this St. Augustine fighting with my Bermuda. Ugly mix, but it's green. That's true. I guess you can always say that, right? So which do you want, Bumpy Lump? Do you want the St. Augustine or do you want the Bermuda? Because there is a way to fix that. We can get you to have one or the other. There's ways to get rid of the Bermuda grass and the St. Augustine, and there's certainly a way to get rid of the St. Augustine and the Bermuda grass. So this thing of having a lawn of both of them is really by choice. We have the technology to fix this problem if you want. You don't have to live with St. Augustine and Bermuda, but to your point, they're both green. So if it's green and that's the only thing you really care about, you've mission accomplished. There's no reason to even keep going any further, right? Lewis P86 says, can you explain the benefits of BioSpectrum? Yeah, so I covered this earlier, Lewis, but the big thing with BioSpectrum is it helps feed the microbial activity in the soil. So if you think about the way fertilizer works, you go out and you apply a granular fertilizer, you water it in. Whenever that fertilizer is then broken down by bacteria and gets converted to a nitrate that is available for uptake by your grass. So a big step or an important point in the chain of getting the most out of your fertilizer is having like healthy bacteria and soil microbial activity. BioSpectrum helps stimulate that. So that's the purpose that it serves. And the reason why I use it in the Golf Course Lawn Carbon Kit is because I also do fungicide apps, and fungicides are not great for the microbial, the beneficial bacteria that are in the soil. So BioSpectrum is a way to help restore that, which is why, again, it gets sprayed every 2 weeks in my spoon feeding program. Hope that helps. And then Toucan Sam says, use the free irrigation until Mother Nature turns off the spigot. Yep, there you go. I tell you, man, there's nothing like rainfall. Irrigation's fine, but like rainfall, gotta love it. Love getting rains. One of the best things. All right, Melvin Otta is up next. He says, hey, Ron, can I apply Primo and your liquids after I verticut and mow my Bermuda grass, or should I wait for a couple of days for it to recover? You can do it afterwards if you want. There's no reason to have to wait a couple of days. Nope, no need. You can do it right after if you so desire. All right, Kyler Walker says, have you heard any opinions on the Ego backpack sprayer? Have some batteries and tools already in the market for a backpack sprayer. I've not heard any, but if you already got, if you're already in the Ego ecosystem, then yeah, it makes sense to get that sprayer. When it comes to backpack sprayers, there's two sprayers that I have a lot of experience with. There is the Flow Zone sprayer, like the older one, the older Typhoon, which I still have, and the Yard Mastery sprayer. Those are the two that I have a lot of experience with. They both work really well. When it comes to using a backpack sprayer, it is very much the Indian more so than the Arrow, meaning that if you get out and you go buy a Ryobi or an Ego or insert some brand, as long as the sprayer will consistently, the flow rate out of the sprayer is consistent, then it doesn't really matter which one you use. In other words, if I go out and I spray, if you hand me a Ryobi sprayer or an Ego sprayer and you say, hey, go spray this lawn, I'm going to walk off first. I'm going to go calibrate the sprayer and figure out what my walking pace needs to be to make sure I put out the right amount of product over the right amount of square footage. And then there is no way for you to tell if I go in and spray like 1,000 square feet, whether I used a Typhoon or a Yard Mastery sprayer or an Ego sprayer. It doesn't really matter. It is very much you, the person using the tool, more so than the tool itself. Now, the better sprayers, they're going to be better. They're going to be more consistent. The construction is going to be better. They're going to come with an assortment of spray nozzles. So there are some benefits of paying more money to get a better piece of equipment. But I mean, all things being equal, it is still comes down to you using it properly more so than the brand of sprayer that you use. So, I don't know the Ego one personally, Kyler, but I'm sure it's going to be just fine. I mean, Ego makes a lot of good equipment, so it's probably going to be okay. And if you already have their batteries, then kind of makes sense to kind of do that. All right. All right. Next up is Simple Cash Offer. He says, I always have too much when I do 8 gallons, so I dial it back. Okay. Again, as long as you're covering, like you got a nice even coverage over the entire lawn and the amount of product that you're using is correct for that amount of square footage, then you're good to go. This is a question I answered. Like I got a phone call in the business the other day, and a person asked me, said, I read the labels for a lot of these products, and they say, this amount of product over this many, over 1,000 square feet, or this much product per acre. But it doesn't tell me how much water to mix with it. And I said, yeah, that's how it's supposed to be, because the water, remember, water is just the carrier. The thing that's important is the amount of product over the amount of area. So there's to an extent, right? So in other words, if you take something like Primo, right, plant growth regulator, if you read the label for this, it's going to tell you to use X amount of ounces of fluid ounces over 1,000 square feet or per acre, whatever it happens to be. You can take a half a gallon of water if you're really good, and take half a gallon of water and mix that amount of Primo with it and spray that over 1,000 square feet. You could do 1.5 gallons of water along with the correct amount of Primo over 1,000 square feet, and both are technically correct. Both are going to work just fine. The reason why I like 1 gallon, where you always hear me harp on that, of 1 gallon of water mixed, or 1 gallon of solution is probably a better way of saying it, over 1,000 square feet, is that it's easy to get fairly even coverage without getting to the point of runoff when you're doing foliar sprays, when you use that dilution rate. So that's why whenever you ever read a label, and while some labels will give you some guidance of saying, yeah, we would mix 1 gallon of water with this, or like Pillar SC, I think the label says we would do 2 gallons of water per 1,000 square feet. Like they give you some tips or some guidance. In many ways, the applicator has some leeway as far as to determining what's best for them. For example, if you're spraying like pre-emergent, product that really needs to get in the soil to work, in that case, even though I apply that at the same dilution rate, like in a gallon of solution over 1,000 square feet, an argument can be made that you could do 2 gallons with the correct amount over 1,000 square feet for pre-emergent, because you're using more carrier. It's going to get past the canopy better. It's going to get in the soil easier doing it that way. So whenever you guys are reading the label and you're seeing the label only talks about X number of fluid ounces or X amount of dry ounces of product over 1,000 square feet, and they don't necessarily specify how much water to mix with it, is because that's not necessarily really the most important part. The most important part is that amount of dry product or that amount of liquid, whatever it happens to be, whether you're mixing it with, again, half a gallon of water, a gallon of water, a gallon and a half of water, 2 gallons of water, as long as the correct amount in the amount of water you're using is sprayed over 1,000 square feet, doesn't really matter. Okay, but I think a good general catch-all guidance is 1 gallon per 1,000. It's pretty easy to get pretty even coverage going that way. So yeah, I just remember like a question I got from a customer, so I wanted to. I figured I'd just chat about that because it's a question that I get every now and then. I think that most of you guys, or at least that are watching this, understand that. But you have some leeway as far as the amount of water you use to apply the product, as long as the correct amount of product goes over the correct amount of square footage. All right. Okay, next question. We're winding down here is Chuck Limmer. He says, I currently mow 5,000 square feet with the Revolution Reel Mower. Looking to expand another 20,000 square feet. Thoughts on using a riding greens mower? Yeah, I'd say you're about on triplex. You're about time to get on some riding equipment, man. Because if your goal is to reel mow 20,000 square feet, that would get old pretty quickly. Even with a 26-inch mower, that's a lot of area. Like I have around between 12,000 square feet thereabouts, and I can cut my entire lawn in under an hour. But you have, almost not quite double, but I mean close to, almost double like what I have. So you're talking about 2 hours every time you mow, couple times per week. That would quickly become like not fun. So yeah, if you're planning on reel mowing and maintaining all 20,000 square feet, as good as possible, then yeah, looking into a riding greens mower is, I think it begins to make sense. You're at the point where that argument, that conversation probably needs to be had. Now, having said that, do not go show this video to your wife and be like, hey, Ron said that, I got 20,000 square feet, honey. I can go down and go pick up a John Deere, go pick up a piece of Toro equipment because he said that's what we should be using. Like, I'm just saying that it makes sense. Whether or not it's, if your budget will go for it and you can get sign off from whoever you got to get sign off from to be able to do that, then by all means, I would not push reel mow 20,000 square feet if it were me, if that's what you're asking. Not regularly anyway. That would become not fun. It'll become not fun pretty quickly. So if you decide to get something, though, let us know. Send us a picture of it. All right, next up is Just Relaxing. Our last comment of the evening says, hey, Ron, great content. I just top dressed my lawn and wanted to know when would be a good time to do a soil test. Thanks. Now you can do one. You could do one. I don't see any reason to really wait. Just Relaxing. I mean, I should say this. Let me caveat that. If you applied fertilizer as part of your top dressing project, then give it 3 to 4 weeks before you go out and pull course for a soil test. But if you didn't do anything, like all you did is just top dress the lawn, then yeah, you don't really have to wait. You can go ahead and do it tomorrow if you wanted to. All right. No need to really worry about that. All right. Next up, our last question of the evening is Andre Taylor. He says, when mowing, Ron, how often do you do a single pass versus a double cut? If I got company coming over, I will do a double pass. Or if I'm just in the mood, I got time, I'll go out and I'll double cut it. You know what I mean? A time when I'm more prone to do that is if I verticut the lawn and after one cleanup pass, I'm not liking how it looks. I want it to look even better. Then I will double cut it. But as a general rule, I don't do that very regularly because it takes like twice as long to cut the lawn going that way. So yeah. All right. And I guess our last question here we got here is from Tony. He says, hey, what is the variety with the darkest green of warm season grass I can install in my home in South Carolina? It's a loaded question, man. Bermuda or zoysia is what I would tell you. Go with either one of those. You'll be happy with either one. Bermuda, Celebration Bermuda, Tahoma 31 Bermuda, or one of the zoysias. Xeon or Emerald would be a great choice. All right. And let's see here. Last one is Aaron. He says, how much nitrogen do you apply per month? What about other nutrients? Do they make a big difference? I apply around 0.7 of a pound of nitrogen per month on my lawn. And as far as other nutrients, I apply a combination of biostimulants along with my nitrogen. Do they make a big difference? Absolutely. Makes an amazing difference in the color, the density of the turf. And yeah, I love the way my lawn looks. If you're interested, I'll send you a link to a video really quickly here as we're winding things down that shows you exactly what I do on my lawn. And you can decide if it's for you. All right. Well, thank you guys so much, guys, gals. Really appreciate all the love and support. Thanks for taking some time to come and hang out on a Wednesday night. I know it's not our normal time. We'll be back to our normally scheduled programming next Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. And I believe in a couple of weeks, we may have Devin on the live stream. So for all you Cool Season folks, get ready for that. I'll make sure I give you guys plenty of heads up, and it should be a good time. Again, thanks so much. Really appreciate all the love and support. Don't miss out on the chance to save a little bit on your lawn care products by using the discount code that you get from answering our survey, which is the pinned comment on the Golf Course Lawn Store. Again, in the live stream. Again, thank you guys so much. Thanks for all the support, and I will see you guys next week. Have an amazing rest of the week and weekend. Take care.